Hello, everyone! How are we all doing tonight? It is time to finish up LDM Monthly, November 1998. This is the first three-parter. And, sadly, probably not the last, but, oh well. I want to be thorough, damn it. I want to be thorough, damn it. I don't know what accent that was. I think it was just a new accent I made up, so therefore, if you associate it with anyone, you're the racist. Hello, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. It is Thanksgiving. Hello to all of the America freaks who celebrate Thanksgiving. Oh, shit. Oh no, I fucked up. Hang on. I accidentally closed Edge. I didn't want to do that. Oh, there's YouTube and then... There we go. I must do a thing. I messed up. I closed the wrong thing. I was trying to close like this Microsoft activity, whatever bullshit that keeps launching with my computer now. I don't know if it's like malware or some shit that's included with Windows 11 now. I don't fucking know. Anyway. Oh, wrong thing. Yes, right thing. There we go. I got the thing right. Alright, now we can continue on with Electronic Gaming Monthly from 1998. November 1998. We have some ads. Oh, actually, no, this isn't an ad. What is this? Alright. Let me know, by the way, if the audio's good, if the music is too quiet, too loud. It's gonna vary, obviously, but hopefully, should be good. Maybe. Hello, Karumi. Karumi's playing Harmony of Dissonance now. I'm doing alright, how are you? How's Harmony of Dissonance been going so far? Hey, speaking of Castlevania music. Music that's way better than anything in Harmony of Dissonance. So what this?
By these Cyto 300-pound monstrosities.
Dashing sucks? I don't know, I like how the dashing works in Harmony.
The arcade machines we crammed with quarters back in our high school hangout Hades were never pretty things. Yet most gamers would trade a 6-foot stack of console classics, or even run over their own grannies, for their own bona fide coin-op.
Citation needed? I would not run over my own granny for an arcade machine. I want an arcade machine. That is definitely something I would like. I don't think I would want to do that to my granny.
And could there be anything more kick-ass than sticking your nose in the air and saying, "Oh, do you mind the arcade machines?" to visiting buddies? Best of all, you'd have unlimited access to your own game machine.
Because if you dash and try to jump, you don't get a boost. I guess.
Used to kick you off Frogger when you were a kid.
I don't know. Really,
Sure,
like, the only
today's
practical
consoles
use
are
for
powerful
dashing
enough
is
to
just
pull off
as, like, a
perfect
speed
emulations
boost.
of the classics and decent ports of the newer arcade hits. But /n there
Like,
will
if you're,
always
like,
be
in a
some
corridor
favorite
with
arcade
not a lot of
titles that
enemies,
fall
you can
through
just
the
dash
console
through
or
them.
cracks.
The slide is useful
And
if you
there
want to,
will
like, kill, like, small
always be
enemies.
gamers who just
Or, you
FA
know,
like
obviously,
the
like,
idea
slide
of
under
bringing
something.
the arcade home, one 300-pound machine at a time. Well, guess what? Finding and collecting coin-ops isn't as difficult or as expensive as you might think.
Did they have multi-arcades
In fact,
back then?
Thousands of collectors do it every day, and homegrown game rooms are
Oh,
popping
well, I
up
mean,
in
I guess you could
basements
get, like, a
and
JAMA
bedrooms
board.
across the country. Nabbing a coin-op of your own is easy, it's fun, and our 6-page guide will show you exactly how it's done, step by step. Ho Jay.
Alright, let's see. How do you make your own arcade circa 1998? I guess nowadays you have, like, these one-up machines. I wonder, like, those one-up machines, can you... I think you can, like, put your own shit on them. Like, you can... It's, like, not super difficult to, like, hack them and just, like, run MAME or something. That's true, the Neo Geo as well. You could have done that.
Before you toss out the Lousy Boy to make room for your first stand-up, you gotta decide what kind of arcade game you want. And before you decide
And
that,
yeah, play
we
choice
need to
10.
fill you in on a few techie details. First, what's in an arcade game? Well, not a whole lot. If you're friends with an arcade operator, ask to see the inside of the latest game. What you'll generally see is the back of the monitor, a small power supply, a board or boards fastened to one side of the cabinet, and wires connecting the board to the joysticks, speakers, and monitor. In this sense, games haven't changed much in the last 20 years. If you compare the guts of a Pac-Man coin-op to a modern machine, you'll see largely the same things. In general, there are two types of games. The first is the conversion game, which is generally produced in kit form. When you buy a kit, you usually get the board and, if you're buying new or
Yeah,
really lucky, cabinet artwork and a
aren't
new
those
set
called
of
JAMA
sticks
boards?
and
Like
buttons.
JAMMA?
JAMA boards ma these kits are designed JY, go a 4A to plug into.
I figure that's what it's gonna kind of basically say is like you really only need to buy one machine and then just buy like JAMA boards and stuff like that. I don't think everything. In fact, I think the JAMA standard kind of came and went. I don't know. How long did the JAMA standard last? And like, I guess also like Neo Geo was like the other thing too. Like, you could buy like a Neo Geo, yeah, or like an AVS or an MVS or something like that. Actually, an MVS would be even better because then you could just plug it into the TV. That is not. That is basically like any and all of this is basically only feasible. Was only feasible if you were just like Bill Gates. Neo Geo costs a shit ton of money. There's no way of doing this on the cheap. Wait. Oh, you know what? Never mind.
MC cabinets that adhere to the JAMA, Japanese on Amusement Machine Manufacturers Me Association.
Oh, okay, so
standard,
yeah,
a
JAMA.
56-pin connector
I was right.
with WT, a standardized pinout for power, video, audio 2N controllers. This standard came into favor AP in the mid-80s, so most games after 1987 or so FO, and a few as early as 1986, have a JAMA via connector on them. It's usually easy to tell if you have a JAMA board. Just look near the D connector and you'll see the word JAMA WH silk screened on the board. If not, be sure to confirm that it's a JAMA board from the TH person who sold it to you. So if your goal is to own a huge assortment of etc. arcade games without wasting a lot of floor space and money on a correspondingly large GA assortment of arcade cabinets,
You're still going to be spending a
JAMA
shit ton of
kit
money.
collecting
It's
is
just
the way
going
to
to be
go.
more space efficient
As
to
long
just
as you
have a
own
bunch
no
of JAMA
generic
boards.
JAMA cabinet, you can play any Euro JAMA standard game by simply hooking the board to the JAMA connector, called A to harness, and flipping on the power. BSTA.
Yeah, you could also get like a Neo Geo machine. CPS. That was like Capcom's own line. Sega had like their own line of like arcade boards.
Forewarned, though, any game that require more than the 3 buttons specified in TH JAMA standard will require additional wiring to connect the remaining buttons. Fortunately, if you can be satisfied with games from a single developer, their wiring harnesses with the extra buttons are usually standardized for all the company's games, and you'll have no trouble playing all their titles. For example, Capcom didn't change the kick button connector between their CPS2 hardware and the newer CPS3 hardware, so if you wire your cabinet to PLA Street Fighter 02 Alpha, you send pop a CPS3 board in with no rewiring and play some MCECRE
Hello,
Street
Aris.
Fighter 3. Recently, some manufacturers have begun using modular EN2 motherboards. In WHPRE, only a cartridge or board needs to be easy for collectors to own. Din Bed's 3008 subwoofer first plug not attractive to operators, since the investment required for any game is often quite a bit less. The most not of these systems is the venerable Neo Geo, which has been going strong for 8 years. Other systems are Capcom's CPS2, cartridge-based, and CPS3, CD-ROM-based, systems, as well as more obscure gear like Taito's F3 or Sega's Titan, basically the arcade version of the Saturn. Another thing to
Sega
be aware
Titan?
of
I never
is
even
that
heard of
memory
that one.
orientation
But
can
I
vary.
guess it's basically
Most games are horizontal, but or backslash
like an
many
arcade
games,
version of it.
especially
Isn't that the
codes,
SRV though?
shooters and older titles, DR vertical, meaning the monitor
Maybe that's
is
something else.
rotated go degrees, like Raiden. One annoying thing about vertical games, one manufacturers never agreed on a standard whether they were going to rotate their screen to the left or to the right, so
That's a
some
good
games
point.
can appear upside down in your cabinet. Fortunately, this problem is usually fixed via dip switch or test mode setting. The second type of coin-op game is the dedicated system. This is a game that, when it rolled off the assembly line, was made for one purpose, to play Game X. The pre-JAMA games of the early 80s, such as Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Frogger, etc., tended to be of this type, although they could often be converted to other games from the same company without too much hassle, as well as anything that has non-joystick controller or a special cabinet, i.e., Sega's Lost World or Daytona. Collectors keen on the classics will
Let's
need
go
to clear
away.
out plenty of room for these standalone machines.
So Daytona USA, I guess, would have been on the Sega Titan hardware. That makes sense. It's basically a Saturn game. Except from what I remember, wasn't like the Saturn version like infamously really gimped of Daytona USA? I don't know. I thought it was fine.
Cost you around $500 for a DD1 that's been completely, you'll furlough any rare out that you'll sell you want collectors. This is the NSR Zone 3 Samsky Holy Grail. The color educated stand up, it's time
Only
to
like
bust Vector to hit
500,
open the piggy
that's
bank. You're going coin-op shopping.
cheaper than I expected, but
before
also
you
you
break
gotta
out
like
the
spend
hand
money
trap,
on the jam
we
boards.
need to talk prices. You should note that pricing on games can vary wildly. So, you may ask, how much should pay FC Game X? The answer is simple, whatever it's worth to you is always a fair price. That's not to say you shouldn't comparison shop, it's just that game prices are rarely cut-and-dry. Remember that to the local arcade operator, games are a source of income. A game that still earns money is worth more to him, her than an old cabinet sitting in the back of his, her warehouse. Auction prices, we'll get to auctions later, are usually significantly cheaper than other means of getting a game. Some games have sold for as little as $50 or even $10. But once you win the bid,
What?
you're on your own as far as
Shit, where can I get a
maintenance.
jam board for
It
10
should
bucks?
also be
That
noted
works.
some very
Hey! Perfect timing on that music. We were just talking about Daytona USA.
Old games continue to make money, even 15 years after their release. The two most notable classic earners are Galaga and Miss Pac-Man.
True.
Because of their enduring appeal, these games still make around $100 a week. Not as much as a new game, but given that the cost of the machine was earned back years and years ago, it represents pure profit to the operator. With this in mind, expect to pay more for games with this kind of longevity. And Niggasting 3 Capcom CPS3 games such as Alternative to /%SFL are modular, consisting getting a reel of a CD and dongle T Galaga, I, or W cartridge. Consequently, machine is, you can get new games to purchase B equals fake pretty cheap, around I one of the ELOL, $300, as long as you repaint, have the CPS3 hardware. ASIC's JAMA S-Fill dongle and, or
Yeah,
boards,
$500 plus $300 for a
There are
board.
2 volumes, one with Galaga, 5J
And that's just
Xenius
one
and
game.
Mappy, and our
I guess this
second
was
with
before,
Pac-Man,
like, multi-arcades.
Dig Dug, and Rally X. They didn't fare well in today's arcades, so you should be able to find them for under $500. Game prices also tend to follow a U-shaped curve, based on how old the game is.
Fair enough.
New games are on the near end of the __plus dash Capcom CPS3 discs U, since the technology is new and the prices are still Capcom high. As a game gets older, the
Still
00
Capcom high.
prices drop steadily until you hit a point where
Gotta pay that
nostalgia
Capcom
kicks
tax.
in, and prices increase as the games get more collectible. Expect to pay as much as $500 for a new cabinet with a 19-inch monitor, and up to $800 for one with a 25-inch monitor. If you go to an auction and just buy some old cabinet with some crap game in it, 19-inch cabs have been seen for as low as $50 and 25-inch
Damn.
cabs as low as $300. If you buy used from an operator, you'll likely wind up getting a cabinet with a game in it, and the price will vary based on the condition of the cabinet and the age of the game. JAMA board prices also vary wildly. New boards cost between $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh,
and
shit!
the price drops dramatically as time goes on. A game from 10 years ago typically costs between $10 to $50 nowadays, unless the game was particularly rare. For newer games, the thing that affects its depreciation is its earning power, which in turn is affected
So you could
by
own
the
an arcade
presence of a
machine
home
theoretically for
version,
like
whether or not the game
$60.
was
Six,
popular,
like 50 for
etc.
the.
Personally, often wait until games drop below $200. If can get system-based hardware, like a Neo Geo or a CPS2 board,
True.
or $100 otherwise. Usually, only have to wait a couple of years for this to happen. There are several avenues you can take in acquiring JAMA boards and/or cabinets. The first, and most expensive,
Want ads?
option is to crack open the yellow pages, look under
Yeah.
amusement, call your local
On the
distributor,
internet.
and try to get him or her to sell you the game
I
you
don't think
want.
Amazon existed.
You'll probably
it
succeed
kind of did,
if
but
you're
like,
looking for a recent game and willing.
yeah, the internet. All right, we got Gex. Get excited, everyone. This one's taking a while. It's got a lot to sift through. There we go.
To pay the $1,500 plus or $30,000 plus for a deluxe simulator that they'll probably seek. Since this is outside the budget of most sane people, the majority of us will have equals to look for second-hand bargains. You may be able to convince your local arcade operator or K8 to sell you that game you've had your eye on. Be warned, most operators don't like dealing with collectors, since it takes, smiley face, them away from their core business of running their arcade. 3-3.
Nobody likes dealing with collectors. Collectors are just the scum of the universe.
In short, don't expect 3 any. Also note that some Namco-owned arcades periodically sell their games, especially around Christmas, and you can get a good deal. Recently, many of the Namco arcades were selling games for as low as $100.
Namco had their own chain of arcade.
Namco
had their own chain of arcades? I didn't know that.
If you're lucky enough to live in the right place, you can attend an arcade game auction. Auctions tend to be centered in the Virtua Racing Midwest, although many are held every few $3,000 WL months in other cities. Check our resources when they see a degree AI 3-core sidebar for more auction information. Most buy auctions are on Saturday and begin at 9 or original for 2_EAEDH 10 a.m. Inspection is held before the start. Model 2 Fit ESs == of the auction, giving prospective buyers the drive-in G == a chance to check out the merchandise. Machines are EEI =, so if you're planning to buy anything, but Virtua Fig EE == show up early and make sure the game complete MA PE you want actually works. Even if you $200. If USE =J = 5E don't see anything you're wild about, to get an ARC == you can still play all the free games you Model 3. A = fam = we want until the auction begins. Oh, and Super GT Tree SE = besides money and a large truck, there's game like the =5. One other vital thing to bring to an deluxe mode auction, a heavy-duty, SoFoot Fighter 3 bow, monitor with burn =in, extension cord. Inevitably, the around $500 game you want to play is 35 feet people while burn-in is easy from the nearest outlet, and you affordable CC to spot, but can't count on being able to move the $10,000 WHE pain to fix.
You just get Slippery Pete from that Seinfeld episode.
Finally, you can always order off replacing
that way it'll save the Frogger score
and boards through the Z mail if you don't mind spending monitor.
You can always count on Slippery Pete.
Sky-high shipping fees at least equals $150 for a cabinet. Check our resource sidebar for reputable mail order outfits. And more often than not when 5 buying a coin op, what you dash. And an OK display C is what you get. So it's worthwhile to make sure your prospective purchase is in acceptable condition, and there are a few things you should check. Obviously, the most important thing is that it powers up. But before you throw the switch, take a look at the monitor. Since arcade games often sit for hours with the text, Game Over, credits 00 on the screen, you'll want to check the screen for burn-in. Burn-in used to be a big problem with game systems in the late 70s/early 80s and continues to be a problem with the pricier coin-op projection-type televisions. Unfortunately, if burn-in is present, there's not a whole lot you can do about it short of replacing the entire monitor. Another thing to look for is bloom around the edges of the monitor. If you see colored shadows around white text, the monitor may be old enough that a get-well kit may be necessary. These kits contain replacement capacitors and should only be installed AR common but by a qualified technician, as highly dangerous AG, Y9, A, X voltages are present around the monitor. or THPS song things like broken joysticks and buttons are 3. Pozo. Hit generally trivial. Replacements are easy JC's DTC enough to find via mail order and are YLBEI die usually inexpensive and fairly easy to
Hey, Game Gear.
replace. If you're not the kind of person who likes to get under the hood, though,
here's how you can buy an arcade
sure
machine.
to inspect them a little more CL closely.
It'll cost anywhere from like $50 to $2,000 is what they're saying.
So
Honestly, like the fact you could get like a shitty arcade machine for $50 back then, that's a pretty good price.
See if the cabinet is in particularly bad shape, be aware that replacement marquees you'll need good luck and a wad of cash to take home a /EGM mint condition classic machine. After all, remember how you used to beat on the machines when you were a kid?
And still beat on the machine as an adult. You're salty you lost at Final Fight and... Well, let me read this bit first. What is this? Yep, it is Thanksgiving for Americans.
WW1 note to collectors about Sega's high-end games, as well as Namco's 3D titles. They all
Happy
use
Thanksgiving to all the
medium-resolution
Americans.
monitors, PEF, which means the boards won't simply plug into an average cabinet. You'll need
all the non-Americans, fuck off.
Monitor, preferably one that housed a Sega or Namco game to begin with.
We don't take kindly to your types
Sega's
around
Model
here.
1 games have dropped dramatically in price since came out. A typical price would be below the $12,000 plus they commanded any out, although still out of the price range as. On the other hand, just the boards for the fighter cost about $200 to $300. Team games can be nearly affordable, while NES are rather expensive. Daytona still near the $10,000 mark for
Holy
a twin
shit.
setup. For 2 can be found for around $1,500 for
Sega's
a
like the Toyota of arcade
in Japan,
machines. They just
DS2
forever hold their
boards only
value.
cost around now. Someone in Tokyo, you might be
How about
able
Canadians?
To two for a song. 5 it's still new. Expect to pay quite a bit.
Yes, but they're on
Those
thin
for
ice.
around
I don't think they
$10,000
celebrate
used.
Thanksgiving, do
For
they?
a new Tana 2, you'll pay around $32,000 for a...
Well, you know what? I will accept
Surprisingly,
Canada.
though,
I will accept
importing
Canadians when
virtual
Trump makes them the
RDS from
51st
Japan
state.
would only set you back or so. While that's still more than most pay for a single game, it's surprisingly insidering that the machines cost around when they came out. Yee.
Yeah, no idea. Ask Orc.
I called to... Fine. If your goal is total restoration, and Benet has been to hell and back, you may want to ask. Once you find the perfect machine, all you need to do now is bring it home.
Actually, wait, no, I will.
A SD common, but that side art and control panel overlays are often difficult to find. If your goal is total restoration, and the cabinet has been to hell and back, you may want to pass. Once you find the perfect machine, all you need to do now is bring it home.
I mean, you're getting
Think
it from an
about the size
arcade.
of your
It's gonna
doorways
have
before
like
you buy a huge cockpit
pizza
style
grease,
machine.
cigar burns,
Although some
all
machines
of that.
can be partially disassembled, most are one piece, and all are very heavy. The average machine weighs in at around 300 IBS. If you decide to get serious about this
IBS
hobby,
mentioned.
a hand truck is essential. Also, once it's loaded on the truck, don't forget to strap it down securely. Having the machine slam into the sides of the truck when you brake suddenly may adversely affect its playability. Ember how?
Was there a ChatGPT data breach? I didn't know about that. You've played arcade? Yeah, I mean... But do you own an arcade? On a Pandora's box. Wait, oh, Pandora! Like, what, like open Pandora? So it's like a Linux thing? I think I've seen those. I wonder if they still... Well, I was gonna say, I wonder if they still make those, and if so, how much do they cost? And third question, how much is that gonna cost physically? Like, how much space is that gonna take up? Probably a lot. There's those game machines in some pieces. Oh, so you just like assemble it like IKEA furniture. Well done, soldier. What is this a game? What is this an ad for? Or is this just saying, well done, you've bought an arcade machine? No? Okay. Alright, step 3.
Hold it! I didn't do anything to get out of here.
Oh, it's red alert? Oh. I see. It could only do up to Neo Geo, so SF2000 handheld. Fair enough. Go play Red Alert. You know what? I might have Red Alert. Let me look. Red Alert's one that I've always wanted to play for, you know, that, because of that clip. Before you give me shit, remember, you played, Command and Conquer Red Alert. Let's go. I was gonna say, does this support mouse control? Honestly, I'm not really sure that, is gonna matter.
Allied disk detected. To play the Soviet missions, please insert the Soviet disk.
Oh shit. This one?
Hold it!
Allied disk detected. To play the Soviet missions.
Oh, they're
please
just
insert
telling
the
you which
Soviet
disc. No, I want the Soviet one. I want the Tim Curry one. I want the Tim Curry disc.
Soviet disk detected.
Here we go.
To play the Allied missions, please insert the Allied disk.
Oh, is that part 2? Fuck, never mind.
Playing with that thing. I've just got to adjust this.
Give me the sequence calculations.
I understand now why this is on 2 discs. Actually, possibly 3 discs? I'm not sure.
They're already done.
I've actually never played Command & Conquer. Let's see if it's LDP compliant.
I wonder if it will be raining.
Stand by.
Oh man, the production values were high. Oh wait, oh this is FMV.
Herr
Oh.
Hitler.
Ja, was ist los?
Wait, they said 19. Did they resurrect Hitler?
Ja,
Ah
ich
shit.
verstehe.
You know what? I am now fully anti-communism. I don't think you should resurrect Hitler. That's not something I think you should do.
Did you find him?
Hitler is out of the way.
Congratulations, Professor. With Hitler removed,
Time will tell. Sooner or later. Time will tell.
They chrono shifted Hitler. I think Command & Conquer might actually be sick. I don't even care what the game is like. This intro is worth the price of admission alone. Hopefully you can just control this with a controller. Because I think it supports the mouse, but... Oh, controls actually. What are the... Oh, there. Well, actually, wait. What does that say? Toggle, cursor, action, cancel... And go to sidebar. Okay, understood. You've beaten it with a controller. Okay.
Gradenko.
Because I'm pretty sure this
How long did it
supports the
take to get to
mouse.
work?
I think I tried playing this
Is it
a
safe to speak?
long time ago with the mouse, or
Of course.
one of the Command & Conquer games. I can't
Go on.
remember which one.
The kill time depends upon the weight of the subject. The children were terminated in less than 15 seconds, and the adults took longer, 18 to 42 seconds.
No survivors.
None, Comrade Stalin.
The total dead?
Remember when
Approximately
Joseph Stalin just spoke
840.
fluent English?
My
We all
intelligence
remember
said
that.
there were 877 people in the village. How do you account for this discrepancy?
Inaccurate intelligence?
Enough. Begin full production of the gas.
Already underway, Comrade Stalin.
Was originally a piece. Yeah, I know. I've not seen the original PC version. I have to assume this is a pretty decent port.
Meet our newest officer. According to this profile, you should prove useful.
I would like to see that profile.
Give the lieutenant something important to do. That is all, Gradenko.
Forgive me, Comrade Stalin, but there is something else.
This definitely looks like an early
Outside Turin,
PC
we have
game,
met with
early like
guerrilla
FMV. It's got that charm
They
to
have
it.
blocked the roads into town here and here.
They are enemies of the people. Destroy the town and kill everyone in it. Come, my dear. I have an assignment which requires your special skills.
I probably could skip this, but why would I? Like, I put so much time and effort into this 20, 30 years ago.
Let's see how you handle this. Go at once to Turun. Destroy everything and everyone. No prisoners, no survivors. That is all.
Alright, let's see. How parsable is this? Parsable parsts.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Huh? So what? Okay, this I think. Is this Pantera? Kind of sounds like it. You don't think I can play? I don't think I can play this either. I can't see what I'm supposed to do. Oh wait, I can scroll down. So what, is that the base? Can I click on that?
Awaiting order.
Oh, yes. Here we go.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, I get this. It's like Warlocked. I'm the one person who... Someone's gotta be like, Warlocked mentioned!
Primary building selected.
Vehicle reporting.
Okay. Is it? Oh, I think there. Okay, I see. There's like a fog of war thing if you like
Acknowledged.
advance here. I think. Or not? No. Okay, no. That's just the end of the map. I don't know why it goes beyond that point. Okay, yeah. I don't know why it goes beyond that point, but there's nothing over there. Here?
Affirmative.
Can I attack that?
Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Oh, I see. What it is. Okay, the map just kind of extends here. That makes sense.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
I like the music.
Affirmative.
Can I attack that? Oh wait, can I build... No. No, okay, yeah, no, I think I need to... I lost my pen, fuck. Is there like a button? No, okay. I was gonna say, is there a button... Oh. I was gonna say, is there a way to like auto find mission data, mission password, restart mission? Okay, that's what I want. I think I get this. Like, it's basically Warlocked, but more advanced. Again, it should be pretty evident that my only experience with this genre is Warlocked. Oh, wait, I think I should send them actually here.
Primary building selected. Primary building selected. Primary building selected.
Vehicle reporting.
Alright, can we attack this then? No? Oh, shit.
Waiting orders.
I just don't know what to attack is the problem.
Waiting orders.
Hello, Prime 1, if I didn't say hi already. Oh, here?
Acknowledged.
Okay, I think that's where I need to send my people. Yeah, here we go.
Reinforcements have arrived.
Game Gear Goddess was like, I don't think Logan can play this. Well, look what the fuck I'm doing. You had no faith in me. You doubted me. And honestly, I doubted myself, so... No offense taken, but also... I did a thing in Command & Conquer. This game is actually pretty fun. I just imagine it getting really... Like, I imagine it getting, like, warlocked where you have to, like, juggle a whole bunch of different things, and I can see that being really stressful. Well, I can see that being really fun. I just find it just kind of stressful.
Affirmative.
I don't want to play this too much, because I have, like... Well, actually, you know what? I have, like, a decent amount of the magazine already, taken care of, so we can afford a little bit of lollygagging with Command and Conquer. Hey, Prime 1, I might buy the back bit. I think that's what it was, right? The back bit. That, like, one multi-system multi-card for, like, really old systems. Do you have that? If so, can you tell me, can you confirm that it's good and worth the money? It's not super expensive. And especially for something like Vectrex or Intellivision, where you really kind of want the actual hardware to play on, it might be worth it. Are they even gonna, like, attack?
Reporting. Affirmative. Agreed. At one. Affirmative. At one.
You don't have one, but you're wanting one. I don't know if they got, like, Black Friday sales. Already the price is pretty decent, but I'm just waiting to make absolutely sure I can get this for the best deal I can.
Affirmative.
I'm thinking of getting it for Vectrex. I already have a multi-card, but, like, the, okay.
Affirmative.
Fuck. I already have, like, a multi-card for Vectrex, but I'm just like, I don't know, if any good homebrew comes out, the adapter's only, like, $20. I may as well. And then I mostly want to get it for Intellivision, because I plan in the future to do an Alphacade on Intellivision. That's going to take a while, though. As long as it takes GBA, and I also might do Neo Geo in the interim, but something like that. Anyway, I don't want to play that too much. I mostly want to get back to the magazine, but yeah, that was actually pretty fun once I kind of learned how it worked. And honestly, it wasn't even like that difficult to figure out. It was just sort of like, you know, point and click, really. You can drag to select multiple units, like in most RTS games. In fact, I bet you Command and Conquer was the one that pioneered that. Yeah. It always seemed way more intimidating than it really was, I think.
Step 3, key J, so you get the beast home, plug it in, and start reliving old memories. 30 frenzied minutes later, your character seemingly slips into a digital coma and no longer responds to your joystick. Now what do? Heading back to the place you bought it is probably futile. Unfortunately, once you get a machine, you're generally on your own unless you're unusually good friends with the seller.
Yeah.
Fortunately, most problems are pretty easy to fix. There are several places where you can purchase parts like joysticks and buttons. A good place to start looking on the net is in the recgames.video.arcade.collecting newsgroup, or the addresses FAQ available at techwww.spies.com/arcade. This site is a joystick goldmine of technical information. If you're so inclined,
Make sure you download the overlays for games like
Night
Night Stalker that use the keypad. Did Night
Replacing
Stalker
broken
use the
sticks
keypad?
and
I don't
buttons
remember.
generally involves opening up the control panel and
actually,
loosening
yeah, I
the
think
nuts below.
No, wait,
For
did
more
it?
serious problems, like a black
I don't
screen,
think so. I
check
thought it
the
was just,
wiring
like,
in the cabinet
move and then
make
shoot.
sure that there are no loose connections.
But yeah,
Be
I
very
definitely
careful
need to
when doing
download,
this. If your cabinet is still plugged in,
I'm sure they have,
there are
like,
sometimes
PDF
still
scans of all
points
the
where
overlays somewhere on, like,
110 volts can
archive.org.
easily zap you. This is akin to jamming your finger in a power outlet. It's an absolute necessity to unplug the machine before you start touching things inside.
Yeah, for sure.
You're best off paying a technician to check things out. You're best off paying a technician to check things out. 2L, if the monitor itself fails to power Y, a PE1 up, my advice to you is to let NB / experienced technician work on yen, i.e. the problem. Monitors are very, very dangerous components. Even with the power off and the machine unplugged, high voltage can be present on the back of the tube for hours or LTE days. Unless you're absolutely AADADARDD sure you know what you're Kyla Layla doing, it's best to collectors can often repair busted. Leave this to the op, but only qualified technicians should professionals. Round a lethally charged monitor, left. For the
Yeah,
most
definitely
part,
dealing
though,
with
in a home
CRT
environment,
monitors. Honestly,
game
that's why,
won't
like,
last
I've
a
wanted to
very
open
long
up my
time.
Vectrex
After
to, like,
all,
clean the
it was
volume knob
designed to
before,
withstand rigors of a game
but I'm
room
so
and its
scared because
abusive
it's an
customers.
old-ass CRT, and
If you
even
treat
years
your
after
machine well, it should
it's
need
been
relatively little
powered
maintenance
on.
if it's in good shape to
Last time the
begin with.
Vectrex has been powered on
And
is the
before
last
you
time
know
I
it,
streamed
you'll
it,
be a
but,
room full of coin-ops, or
like,
at least
yeah,
a good
like,
assortment
static
of IMA
electricity
kits to slap
with those
into your
old
trusty
CRT
conversion
monitors
cabinet.
linger there for
Eventually,
years.
S will have brought the arcade home, and without
It's
the greasy
kind of scares the
sticks,
shit out of me,
screaming
and
kids
also
or
I don't want
feathered
to
hair
open something
bozos to
up
cramp
that's
your
like
H-scoring style.
$500 that I could probably resell it for if I ever need to sell my kidney, or if I ever need a new kidney, rather. Oh wow, that's a lot of sources. Coin-op glossary. Ideal cabinets. What were the ideal cabinets to buy in November 1998? Answer Neo Turf Masters.
Fossweave WW
I mean, just listen to this music.
WW Street Fighter IL. This is, in my opinion, the best cabinet to buy if you're interested in having a single cabinet that plays nearly every game. In fact, the only things it won't play are non-JAMA games, games that use trackballs or other alternate input devices, and vertical games, since those require the monitor to be rotated. The advantages to getting a Street Fighter cabinet are many. The most obvious is that with its 6 buttons, you probably won't have to make too many modifications to the control panel for various games. Neo Geo, another excellent first choice for a cabinet. Although you may have trouble playing Capcom games on this cabinet, but if you wanted,
I think they did, like, put some of the Capcom games on Neo Geo, right? No, I think I'm wrong. Did they put, like, some of the Street Fighters on? No, yeah, I'm definitely wrong. I must be getting it confused with, like, King of Fighters or Art of Fighting or one of those
To play
many
Capcom
other
games,
Street Fighter
you would have
clones.
gotten a Street Fighter cabinet, right? These stand-ups are nice and easy to work on. Not only will the majority of JAMA games plug right in, but you also have the option of buying Neo Geo Multi-Video System, MVS, THT games. These are the arcade-only versions of the Neo Geo cartridges that are larger and often cheaper than the home incarnations of the same Neo * Geo games.
Shit,
Another
really?
bonus,
I didn't know they
you
were different.
also don't need to worry about running out of credits, since, unlike on the home section Neo Geo console, you can crank up the or credit count on the MVS games. Of course, ML/FIMO this can be an asset or a liability, 3 depending on your stance on limited 2 continues. Keep in mind that the Neo Geo EMVS
Well, I mean,
is
like,
incompatible
most
with the home
arcade machines had like a
cartridges.
free play mode,
Although
didn't
a
they?
conversion is technically possible,
Or is
it
that a more
costly
recent
and
thing?
typically equals AASE and not worth it.
Alright, what is this? Oh, people. People. Oh, is it gonna... It's not gonna read this if it's like diagonal, is it?
LYLY I know OP say PRESENOROEAESFR
Yeah, I was
equals
right.
PSENSRC so OO rees.
System of all time evolves again. What is this? I don't know what the hell this is, but... Oh, Game Boy Color. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah, Game Boy Color would have come out around this time, wouldn't it?
Rumors have been circulating about Game Boy equals Color since about a year after the now seemingly a toaster-size original was released. After destroying competition from Sega's Game Gear and Atari's powerful but ultimately cursed Lynx, it seemed as if a color version wasn't needed. After all, there are now nearly 1,000 games available for the thing worldwide, just over 500 in the United States, for 808p3 and more than 65. Akai's La La Lad's million Game Boy sold are DOM units riding around in people's pockets arrow palm, across the planet. Boy, for those of you POLI Arias copyright with Elephantine, KOEA memories, the NRETA XO Game Boy Color OOS8 Pi, OA Plus is the logical GoIL conclusion of the SE's long-standing BW. Al, SHE RAS, Project Atlantis, at Nintendo.
Not really. That was the Game Boy
Size
Advance.
system with super refined
Game Boy Color turned... Okay, okay.
compatible with the original machine. Capable of Displaying graphics in up to 56 colors from 3 a palette of 32,000, the unit's minimum power puts it at least on par IEE with Re-SIE gear, the only LLH at and at. Equals obvious differences being that, Jane's number 81, the screen isn't backlit, HLPL, S55-2, it doesn't binge on him, batteries like a weight Lee's IB25 Watchers member eating cream HO cakes on a weekend off, and, C, EEEV, it's neither cumbersome B, Aaliyah, section 12% degree nor too expensive. The system is $79, placing it under the
$79. That's
I'll have to think
hardly
about
anything.
Price point. Nintendo is confident that the November release date will see 5 games: Tetris Deluxe, Quest for Camelot, Game & Watch Gallery 2, Bomberman Pocket.
Oh, you're still playing Aria. Cool. Am I still live? I just want to make sure. Okay, I am. Just everything fell and my life is ruined forever. Alright, I need to reload the thing. There we go. And like 230 or so is where we should be. Alright. There we go. Anyway, yeah. Alright, let's continue. Game Boy Color. Oh, actually, full screen. There. Oh, actually. Yeah, there we go.
Eneas Bees and Conquers Pocket
Oh
Tales.
no, that's not...
Alongside this, the system is also prepared for any asterisk old game.
Oh no, that's not Ava. I wanted Ava. Here we go. Okay, here's Anna. Here we go. What the hell? Why did my thing turn off? Anyway. There, we've solved most of life's problems. Anyway. So what is this list, by the way? Let's look at that first. Oh, these are games coming on Game Boy Color. In fact, I think that list, yeah, so here are... Oh, it's just... Okay. That's the dimensions of the console. Alright, so what are the games coming out for Game Boy Color? What can we look forward to? We can look forward to, in November, Quest for Camelot. I didn't know that was such an early game. Actually, I guess that explains why anybody would be motivated to make that part of the NSO. That was so weird that they put Quest for Camelot on Switch Online. That was a pretty early title, too. I don't think it launched with the Game Boy portion of NSO, but pretty close. Bomberman Pocket? I still need to play that. That's the one that's like kind of a platformer. Tetris Deluxe, Game & Watch Gallery 2. Conker's Pocket Tales. I didn't know that was like a launch window. Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX. is TBD or TBA. Wario Land 2, TBA. Deja Vu 2. Carrot Crazy 2. Or Carrot Crazy. I'm guessing that's what, like Oh, Infogram. So yeah, I think that is like part of Crazy Castle. Maybe that was Crazy Castle 2. Or Crazy Castle 4. Tubal? Oh, Twubble. I don't know what that is, and I'm almost certain that's not the actual name they gave it. Mortal Kombat 4, that port was a dog turd. San Francisco Rush, also, I think a dog turd from what I recall. No, I mean, Midway, I don't know. Did that end up happening, actually? San Francisco Rush on Game Boy Color? I don't remember. Classic duo number 1, Spy Hunter and Moon Patrol. The one is like significant. Oh no, wait, no, Moon Patrol, not Lunar Lander. I get those games confused. Cool Hands, never heard of that. Montezuma's Revenge, good game. Reservoir Rat. I thought that was a Game Boy original game. Maybe they colorized it. Rugrats coming out in November. Why are we talking about November games again? I don't know. Power Quest? Not sure what that is. What is Power Quest? That I might be able to look that up. Because that seems like it was a game that was released in the state of it being a final having a final title. Power Quest doesn't seem like a working title, is what I'm trying to say. Ah, and I was right. Okay. Sunsoft was behind this. Let's see. What is Power Quest? Hold on. Here we go. Oh, shit. I need to reconnect that, man. There we go. So what the hell is Power Quest? We'll pick Spanish as the default option. That's a thing. What the hell is this? Yeah, this seems like it's gonna take more time than I'm willing to put into it. Alright. Let's skip this song. Alright, here we go. What else? South Park coming out in November, that didn't end up happening. Shanghai Pocket. Oh, I wonder if these were Japanese releases. Maybe. No, because Rugrats, that almost certainly would have been like US exclusive. NBA Jam 99. Roadster 98. Titus Jr.? I don't think that ended up coming out. Or did it? Gex 3D? Yeah. Sure. Totally 3D. Did they really make a sequel to Titus the Fox exclusive to Game Boy Color? No, they didn't. Right? I'm just scrolling, you can't see. Titus the Fox. I guess it was called Titus the Fox to Matriarch and back. Oh, it looks like Titus the Fox. Except, wait. Yeah. Problem is, of course, Titus. They suck. Pitfall 3D. I don't know what that is. Men in Black. And NHL. Alright. Anyway.
And Conker's Pocket Tales. Alongside Air. The system is also prepared for any equals. Old Game Boy games with Super Game IY Boy functionality, allowing them to be shown in limited colors just like on the Super NES.
Kinda not
There's
really.
even going to be
It was
a
like
zero-key
Super Game Boy, but it didn't
palette.
actually
Also,
use the Super
plugging
Game Boy
in
Color palette.
certain classic games such as Zelda, A, and Y Link to the Past, Metroid IL, and other food top sellers will result in a sort of Super N equals Game Boy Plus mode in which your games are recolored specifically from EDK the hardware. And Nintendo will set
Oh, they were literally just thinking this was Project
well as re-release
Atlantis.
classics optimized too.
And it's kind of interesting because
Use
this was
the
coming out
56
this
color
month
palette.
and they didn't
As you
fully
can see
know
from
what
our
the Game Boy
lists here
Color
and in the
was.
news section this month,
In fact, it was
numerous
kind of just more of an
third-party
incremental
developers and
upgrade of the
publishers
Game
are
Boy.
already supporting the system, and rightly so. The Game Boy is the closest thing to a mass-market system the video game industry has ever seen. It transcends the usual hang-ups associated with most game systems. It's geeky, it's expensive, and simply puts a distraction straight into people's pockets. The revitalization of the Game Boy in this way can only be compared to something like Volkswagen's relaunch of the Beetle, an old concept, brought up to date, but remaining cool. EGM has been lucky enough to spend some time with the system prior to launch, and it has to be SAIC
Okay, so you
that
spent
Nintendo
time
has
with the
done an
system,
incredible
you
job.
should have been able to work
Using
out
the
that it's
scalable
not going to be able to
technology,
play Link to the
machine
Past.
has naturally evolved and retains all the elements that made it big in the first place. The new screen really does have to be seen to be believed. Although not backlit, the colors remain vibrant, but more impressively the image is absolutely rock solid. There's none of that horrible shimmering present on other color portable systems, while at the same time the screen appears to be of a much higher resolution than the grayscale vanilla Game Boy, even though it really isn't. If there was ever a must-buy gadget this Christmas,
I think the
we
Game
think
Boy
this is
Pocket might have
probably
actually
it.
been higher resolution than the Game Boy Color. Definitely had a bigger screen. I'm not sure if it was bigger, higher resolution though. Well, bigger screen and also less bezel, more importantly. Alright, well, let's... Well, here's what you all came here to see, Pokemon. Can the Game Boy Color play Pokemon? Answer, yes, many times over.
By the time you're A4 reading this, Pokemon Fever should be well 3 underway here in the United States. For scheduled to release on September 28th in both red and blue versions, Pokemon is the game that's been driving Japanese bite kids wild for well over 2 years.
Oh, Pokemon just released like a few months ago.
1996, small Pokemon, known as Pocket Monsters in Japan.
So they waited on like Pokemon for like 2 years before they brought it out here?
It's the best-selling and info video game ever in Japan. Add to that a Pokemon ton of different kinds of Pokemon merchandise, card games, CDs,
I guess it
toys,
took a while for them to
comics,
translate it.
etc. A hugely successful cartoon series, which is now in the United States as well. Check your local listings, and several Pokemon leagues and competitions, and you've got all the makings of a truly monstrous hit. Pokemon's premise is simple. The game is all about collecting monsters. There are 150 monsters in the world of Pokemon, and your goal is to collect 8.
Your goal is to endlessly grind forever and a day.
Underscore 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 underscore.
Oh wait, oh, there's like a bit at the top I
underscore,
missed.
underscore.
Let's read that first.
Many of them as possible in hopes of becoming the world's premier Pokemon trainer. In order to do T, you'll have to travel the world.
And then you're gonna do
hitting
the
your
same
monster.
thing for
You
30
begin
years
the
and then
game
we
with
all
just
die.
one, against other monsters, both wild and previously trained, in an effort to not
I was
only
previously
raise your
trained.
monsters, but to capture new ones as well. The way this is all set up within the confines of a very cool single-player RPG quest is fabulous, but in truth it barely scratches the surface of what this game is all about. As we said earlier, there are 2 versions of the RBDRDRBDBEBWM Pokemon game, Red and Blue. Not all monsters are available on both games. Some are more common on one version than the other, and some are actually only available on one of the 2 versions.
That is fucking
This is
evil.
where the multiplayer
That they
aspect
got
of
away with
Pokemon
that and have
comes into
continued to
play.
get away with that for
By
20 years.
linking up with a friend, you can trade monsters from one Game Boy to another, and you can also pit your monsters against each other in a tournament-style battle. Basically, the only way you're going to be able to get for all 150 monsters on one cart is to trade with friends, pick, which is what makes the game so darn fun. Of course, having friends is key to making this work. There's also a third version of Pokemon in Japan that was only available through a special offer. If it comes here, it'd be the green version, and a new yellow version, Pokemon Pikachu, that just came out last month, which can be connected to a Game Boy printer to print out monster stats and such.
Is that all that
Then, of
yellow
course,
added
there's the
was
all-new
just...
Pokemon Gold
Oh no, wait,
and
no, I think
Silver
yellow
editions, which are coming
colorized.
for GB
I think yellow
and GB
colorized
Color
the
next year
game,
in
so
Japan.
there's that.
Needless to say, there'll be plenty of top Pokemon in the coming 2 months and years. To CPE 5% keep fans of the series equals CB55 satisfied. Be sure to Diane Hers TNNN 1 month when the Gob Lao CD review crew puts SSES Pokemon to the test. At A.
Okay. Oh, hell yeah, Torok the... Torok... What is this? Seeds of Evil. How evil. Alright, what is this? Ah, here's the review crew, I guess. Okay, these are... I see. Okay, yeah, so it is... So it is, like, how it was before, just with, like, the little stuff. Alright, first game is...
Featured in EGM number 109 equals hashtag this game
Body
has
Harvest
maintained a
for
positive
N64.
buzz JML since it was first previewed way back before LL than the 64's launch. But is Body Harvest worth all the incredibly long wait? You bet. It may not be LL be the best looking N64 game, and it does drag at times, but Body Harvest still delivers for an epic experience that's part shooter, part a section driving /
I need to
flying
play
game,
more of Body
with some
Harvest.
RPG bits OM thrown in.
I played a bit of
Man,
it on
this game
stream
is
a while
huge.
ago, and I need to
Your
play
3
more,
LL
but...
time-traveling hero trots through
I think
4
that's gonna be beyond the scope of this.
mint-sized levels, each set at different points JAD FL in the 20th century and divided into several
Got an
TLL
8,
stages,
a 9,
with a final
an
boss
8,
level set
and
on
an
AL
8.
Comet.
Yeah, looks
The
solid.
stages in turn are packed with RDLL objectives, such as rescuing stranded PO-8 PLE with a boat or tracking down scattered 3 LL pieces of an ancient artifact. All the while you're battling hordes of Starship Troopers, ELFL aliens. And while your guy's weapons, Pound 24HL are cool, it's the vehicles he can tool around equals IL in that really keeps things interesting. As in XHL the Amiga Classic Midwinter, UNCOM, 2 LL Mondaire cars, trucks, tanks, boats, heli, LJIL copters, planes, motorcycles, more vehicles, JEHL than can
Can you
count.
believe that this is the same people who did
Controllers ideal,
GTA?
making it easy to drive in one direction and shoot in IL another. The movie quality music is first-rate i4 and N64 game. Only the RPG side, which has you talking to townspeople,
I mean, the
digging
RPG
backslash
side
chests,
was, like,
etc.,
infamously really
is ho-hum.
shoehorned in.
Chris, din equals i4I there's something incredibly groovy about a fit yen same where you can say, hey golden tip B, JE equals %IL really cool if you could do this. And then HFL you try it, and you can. jumping fire trucks, 22 IL jeeps, cars, motorbikes, whatever. The sheer FSJ scope and scale is unbelievable, and the INTJ integration of the different gameplay elements, 3LL shooting, driving, role-playing, etc. is seem to less and transparent. An ambitious game PD that's well worth the long wait. John DJE2 sure, the graphics in Body
Alright,
Harvest
8.
may be a bit dull and somewhat dated, but the game gives you a lot of stuff to do, that's what like about it. Complementing that are the cool mission objectives and balanced level progression, even though most of the levels are hard as hell. Being able to get into any vehicle you come across is a great feature. BH may be a little sloppy in its overall look, but it's a very interesting game. Sean equals LL right off the bat. Have to say that Body IL Harvest's RPG bits are weak, which is 2-3 bad, considering that the addition of these elements is supposedly why the game spent 3 so long in development.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
pretty much.
though, it's a kick-ass, intriguing shooter with an amazing assortment of vehicles to drive and IL fly through the enormous worlds. It may look like a first-generation N64 game, but don't let that fool you, BH is very cool. John R. Visual Sound Ingenuity Replay.
Alright, now, which one is this? Bomberman Hero, what is that? Well, presumably Bomberman.
JJ, here's what don't understand about Bomberman Hero. It's a Bomberman game with no multiplayer mode.
Really? They did that?
Isn't really known for being a magnificent one, WD player game, so why make a game focusing IL on just that? It's no secret to anyone who has IL ever played a Bomberman game that the 3LL one-player modes are only slightly above equals FL average, if that.
Oh, this is like straight down the middle. 5.0, 5.5, 7.0, and 6.0.
Average at best.
That
It
is like,
isn't even as ID
yeah, that is
LL
like
good
straight
as
down
most
the
of its predecessors 1P modes. JAJL may have had moderate fun playing 2FL through the game, collecting power-ups and IL blowing up enemies, but before long was of IL bored. Then the levels came along where a Bomberman uses a jetpack or a submarine, but even those got old fast. Thought maybe equals FL the graphics would be good, with maybe 5FL some nice textures or effects. Nope. The smiley face hashtag sound? Maybe that would be fancy, too. Degree I nope, overall, this game is a major disappointment. I just can't see spending my hard-earned cash on something so mediocre.
I mean, it's Bomberman. What really did you expect? Bomberman is kind of a slight game.
Find stuff, blow up more enemies, and find the exit. If you're a fan of the B-Man and have some extra cash laying around, look into Bomberman Hero. Otherwise, don't even bother. It's a rental, at best.
Yeah, that
Sean
sounds like what I would
Bomberman
expect. If
Hero
it's
is
kind of
fantastic,
just
as
Bomberman,
long
why
as
would you
you
make it
haven't
one
hit
player
puberty
though?
yet.
That's mad.
The game's ultra def, tuning
Especially
graphics,
considering,
and,
like,
for the most
you have
part,
the
easy
king of
asterisk
multiplayer
gameplay may
games
turn off
on the
older
king of
gamers.
multiplayer consoles,
That's
and you
not
made
to
it
say
one
you should
player.
steer
Why would you
clear.
do that?
The performance rating system and collectible items up 3 the replay, and this is a fun little adventure if you're between games. The lack of multiplayer is a drag, especially after the disappointing 3 battle mode in Bomberman 64. Chris, in smiley face, Bomberman Hero is a solid 3D platformer that's less challenging than its predecessor, Bomberman
Biggity Buck
64,
Bumble.
but ultimately more fun to play.
The fuck is Buck
The different
Bumble?
vehicles
Can you explain?
control are cool.
EGM,
Even the
try
end,
and
it's
explain
the main
Buck Bumble to
exploration
me.
eye stuff that's the most fun. The graphics are nice. Watch out for
I've
fog,
tried, and
though,
it's just...
and the music is upbeat and catchy, typical of B-Man, IL Sames. There's just one key thing missing. Where's the multiplayer play? John R.
Yeah,
HIW
everyone's saying,
can
why would
accept
you
the fact that
strip
not
a
all
Bomberman game on
EJ
N64
games have
of
to be
multiplayer?
Hey, for two-player Bomberman 64 wasn't that great. FY better to just concentrate on a solid one-player
There were
experience.
Super Nintendo Bomberman
But
games.
he's
They
such a
made like
cool
special
little two-dude
multicaps
with
so you
such
could
unique
have
skills.
4
He
players
should've
on systems that
Smiley face been
didn't
put in a
natively
3D
support 4
game
players.
comparable in quality 3
That's
IL
mental.
and depth to Mario 64 or Banjo. This game is too simple and straightforward. It may be better suited for younger gamers. Nan.
I mean, I don't think anybody was expecting Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie out of Bomberman, but... I mean, if they were charging the same price, then yeah, that's pretty... messed up. Alright, Buck Bumble. WTF is this?
Was very keen on Buck Bumble when first played it at E3 this year. The premise of controlling a cyborg bee blasting mutant insect invaders out of the sky was intriguing to me. It seemed like a cool game, kind of a Star equals Fox meets Pilot Wings hybrid or something. Well, as it turns out, that's basically what it is, only it's a lot harder than it looks. The myth science start out simple enough. Blast a
People
few
are basically
squadrons of
saying
wasps,
it's like very
blow up some
slightly
radar
above
two
average. It
sites,
looks like
etc.
7.5, 6,
But then the objectives
6.5,
become a lot more
6.5.
intense. The problem isn't in the difficulty of the missions, but rather the tie-in factor involved. Targeting and destroying enemies with the tiny gun sight is really tough. Add to that the frustration of dying in the middle of a level and having to start over and over again, it drives you nuts. But it's the kind of craziness that makes you want to keep trying until you blow the @4 5% out of copyright those mutant insect jerks. So basically it's tough, but
Blow the
in a
fuck.
good way. Still think it would be
You mean
better if the
Buck Bumble
weapons had a
again?
bigger impact. Plus 2-player
Argonaut,
is pretty
that makes
useless.
sense.
The Buck battle turns into a
I
never-ending
mean, they
game off
literally
attack,
said it's
while Buzz
like
Ball
Star
is very
Fox, so
limited.
Argonaut.
It's a one-on-one soccer match. Overall, Buck is the kind of game that'll keep you locked in until you finally beat it, but after that you probably won't pick it up again.
Yeah,
Dean really wanted to like this game.
much like Star Fox.
Think Buck Bumble is a very cool character and it too would make an excellent mascot. But the Z game isn't terribly exciting. Admittedly,
Bro,
it's
you got Croc. Why would you
fun
need
flying
Buck
around
Bumble?
open worlds as a tiny insect, but the stages are pretty bland in equals design. The two-player head-to-head game had potential, but it's too difficult to hit your 3 zippy opponents, and with no radar, it's a 2-pain tracking him or her down. Damn, it ain't mind-blowing, but Buck Bumble's still a decent shooter that really grows on you once you get a few levels under your belt. The massive outdoor environments, as well as indoor sewer and hive areas, are a blast to zip through, even if they're too foggy and plagued by repetitive textures. You'll face a good variety of missions, and dot control is pretty tight. The novel 2-player soccer mode is original, but deathmatch is dull. Chris, in Buck Bumble could have been a hit, but I'm afraid the overall package is a little too sloppy for me. The graphics are overly soft, the drawing is poor, and the fogging is a bit T00 noticeable. Yeah, Buck Bumble features a cool main character, interesting levels, some nice two-player modes and decent mission structure, but overall I'm not that impressed. It's definitely one to check out, but wouldn't go as far as to spend $60 on it. Sean.
Black Friday, I guess if it had to happen, it had to happen. Alright. But yeah, that's Buck Bumble. I'm not really a fan, personally, but there's someone is. Alright, what we got? F-Zero X! That's a good game. And IGN agrees. Straight 9s.
Featured in EGM number 111BA, getting tired of all the Me Too crap games being released for the N64? Starting to really? ID miss the glory days of the Super NES when all of NCL's games were just so good that you'd give anything to get your hands on them? Well, I'm happy to say that F-Zero X is one of the few N64 games that lives up to those old standards in every way. The only equals downside to the game, which really doesn't bother me at all, but may annoy some of you, Jad, is
Someone
that the background graphics
recreated the
are for
Virtual
most part
Boy Mario
all
Land
non-existent.
demo. I did not see
But
that.
once you get to playing the game, with its silky smooth, 60 frames per second movement, incredible track designs, and extremely
You want to post that in my
well-balanced
Discord? I might
gameplay,
look at that later.
you'll SG forget all about the backgrounds. It's nice to see a game with so much depth, 30 cars, 24 FI tracks not counting the X Cup, an excellent 3 multiplayer mode, and a super cool Death Race mode, especially after the ridiculously simple Yoshi's story. Even the music is really good, with some excellent remixes of the old F-Zero tunes. That main theme has always been a favorite of mine. It's too bad we'll probably never get to see the track editor from the 64 DD add-on. The DD seems to be just about dead here, thank dead, but otherwise this game's got everything an F-Zero fan could ask for.
Like,
Good
towards
job,
the beginning, they
Nintendo.
were, like, kind of being like, yeah,
Now you
DD's
were
probably
the
gonna
heck is
happen. And then,
Metroid
like,
647
literally by the end, they're
degrees
just like,
down on
nah,
IB
nah.
equals 2 once
64
again.
DD's fucked
Nintendo has
in America.
masterfully upped at GED one of its 16-bit classics. F-Zero Zai. Super fast, super intense racer, an equal beat equals mix of style and solid gameplay. There's just something totally cool about zipping around G. It's wild tracks with 29 other racers jockeying for position
Everyone
all
agrees
around
that
you.
it's 9.0.
You get a decent,
I agree,
just amount
F-Zero
of
X is a
tracks
pretty
and
good
lots of cars to
racing
open,
game.
and the randomly
One of the best on
generated
N64.
X-Cup
In fact,
courses
possibly
equals
the
keep
best
multiplayer
on
racing fresh
N64.
crisp. In a pound, the original F-Zero still stands as one of my FH all-time favorite games. So it's fantastic to see that Nintendo has
Knife
captured
edge.
the essence of what made it so great. The graphics may be simple, but they're smooth and the action is fast, and that's what's most important here. If If you play it hard enough and reach the top race class, the random track generation makes for one of the finest multiplayer racing games ever. A classic, for sure. John D == C. Besides being a solid racer and doing the two original Super NES version justice, F-Zero X Jazz is thankfully one hell of a challenge. Some equals of the courses seem downright impossible, but somehow, after what seems like a zillion J attempts, you secure first place. Graphically, could have been more impressed, but
Yeah, that's
guess
pretty much my
if they're
experience
going
with
for an old
F-Zero.
school look
Basically
can
impossible.
understand. Lastly,
Basically
the
impossible
four-player
game for
versus
aliens.
mode is one hell of a blast. Shauna aligned assert TYP.
But what's Knife's Edge? I've never heard of that one. Seems like they're kind of split on like slightly above average or slightly below average.
In EGA versus a Knife Edge is a rail shooter that plays like a light gun game without the light gun. It's not yet a bad concept. The problem is, Knife Edge P lacks the beauty and immersiveness of Class 6 like Panzer Dragoon or Starblade.
Oh, so it's like a
levels
poor
are
man's Panzer
uninspiring.
Dragoon. That
You have a
sucks.
generic space station, a generic city, a generic canyon, etc.
I don't know, Knife's Edge.
Nothing in the stages
I don't know if that's
scream
necessarily my
originality.
thing, but I could
And since
see
this
that
is
being
a
the
rail
thing of
shooter,
someone else.
where you're carried along with no freedom of movement, scenery matters a lot. The 2 gameplay isn't terribly exciting either. You equals might find yourself yawning as you trudge through the boring
might
stages,
find yourself-
shooting at their Euro boring enemies. The game, however, isn't without its good points. Rather, it's 1 = good point. The best feature of the game has F = G to B, by far, the ability to dodge attacks in 5 different directions, done
pretty
with
cool.
the camera buttons. This gives Knife Edge some much needed depth since you'll have to skillfully aim and duck at the same time. Unfortunately, this saving grace isn't all it should be. First, dodging in the correct direction isn't as intuitive as it should be. You'll take a lot of unnecessary hits because it's not clear which way you should juke. Second, you don't really need to dodge that often, you'll only use it HS on the occasional boss and mid-boss. Overall, section = 3. This is a very lackluster game. Dana 3-2. EETG, I'm not entirely wowed by Knife Edge, but it JAD is a fun game, and it's certainly something F different. I'm surprised how well the analog plus stick works with a game like Knife Edge. Is H this a genre on the N64 not yet tapped by old game developers? Think so. How about an =N64 Duck Hunt? Overall, Knife Edge is an interesting title to add to the growing N64 FD library, even with its 16-bit style cutscenes, and hacked-up dialogue. Sean the Knife Edge is a poor man's Gunblade New York, Z, and that's fine with me. The N64 needs fun degree light gun type shooters like this. Even if the system doesn't have a light gun, don't worry, your crosshairs control fine with the 4-stick. Despite a bland selection of weapons, KE's quick pace and variety of enemies make for intense gameplay, with boss battles being especially
How much
cool.
is this game
The
secondhand, Knife
multiplayer
Blade?
co-op and battle modes are nice
This seems like one of those that's like
Crispin just can't get past the limited play mechan.
gone
Count
up in price on the
ICS of
secondhand
Knife Edge.
market.
There are multiple paths.to, section = 8 take permission, and when say multiple equals mean upward of 8 or more. This is a great jazz feature and one of the saving graces of the CS title. But in a game where all you do is point 3 a cursor and shoot, expect amazing graph, 3 ICS and better camera movement. Knife Edge doesn't have much of either, and the sound effects are pretty cheesy. Sushi.
Sushi. Sushi's not real, we established this. Alright, well... Next we've got... NHL 97. Alright, say something new about a hockey game.
It'd be NHL 99 for the N64 is still
Or
a
99,
very
did I
good
say
game.
97? I might have.
The action moves super fast and the medium res graphics look great, though all obviously at the expense of the animation, LL, which is weak in comparison to the game's BLPC and PS counterparts. The crowd and all of BL, the little sound effects are fantastic, but the W=1 play-by-play is terribly cheesy. What was EA2 thinking? Fortunately, you can turn it off.
What was EA thinking?
Anyway though, enough about that stuff. On aisle to gameplay.
8.
NHL 99
Everybody
plays
gets
fast
it an 8.
and
Fair
furious
enough.
HBL and can be a lot of fun, especially multiplayer, IDBYR. The one-player mode has a couple of XMY glaring problems that keep me from giving =BL the game a higher score, though. For one, on ID 2 of the 3 difficulty levels, Rookie and LL Pro, it's way too easy to break away. The E for speed burst is too useful, and combined LL with the money shots you can find, and you can rack up big 7-0 leads in like 5 OTLL minutes flat. This is not good. Fortunately, it's LL not a problem on All-Star difficulty, but the ML CPU will make up for it by hooking all the time, and hooking in NHL 99 is just way too 8LL cheap and useful. Also don't like the fact that there's hardly ever any rebound action near the nets. The goalies catch almost every thing. Aside from these problems though, I still think NHL 99 is a blast to play. John R. 2 I'm really psyched to see new EA Sports 2 LL franchises hitting the N64. NHL 99 is a great GIL opener. The graphics, controls, ambience, G3 all are great. But a few minor flaws hurt the eye score. First, it's too easy to get breakaways HLL against the CPU teams. Also, you hardly ever see any hard slap shots bouncing off of a FI goalie's gloves. I like to go for them rebound, 8 shots, you know. Still, NHL 99 is an excellent 3BA title to add to your library. Dan 3. GF/ I'm not as big of a hockey fan as Richardi, but 2BM no EA's NHL line has been king for some HL time now. I really like the way the controls have been simplified this year. Guiding play, IL airs becomes second nature very quickly. 2. LL player is a blast, thanks mostly to the exit, ing gameplay and solid control. One thing I didn't care for was the play-by-play, 2IL cheesy. Otherwise, there's no doubt NHL 99A is the
So
best
people are kind of
N64
like
hockey game yet.
not sure how they feel about the replay.
NHL
To be fair, I think like
99 has got
most
to be one of the best looking
modern hockey games have like an
IEBL
instant
hockey
replay
games I've
feature
seen on
now.
the
So
N64. Sharp, character
They were in the
graphics
minority,
and smooth
it seems.
gameplay copyright ML highlight the game, though the controls feel ASLL bit floaty and the animations aren't as fluid PDLL as I'd have liked. The commentary is brief and HLL a bit repetitive, too. Still, Multiplayer is a LL blast, as always, and the atmosphere is just IL right. This is definitely the only choice for La Hockey fans on the N64. Gucci.
Gucci. When I think hockey, I think Gucci. Alright, what's this game? Scars for N64. Oh, is that snowboarding, I guess? Well, it's gotten a 7, a 5, a 7, and a 5, so torn between straight down the middle and slightly above average.
Textures and an underlying concept that's dubiously weird. This is SCRS. For some reason, Vivid Image has chosen to set the game A in a supercomputer, which makes the minimal texture pop-up justifiable, and B in a racing environment where all of the cars are inspired by large predatory animals. It's not exactly Mario, Luigi, Bowser, and Toad, is it? Personally, I'm not able to feel one way or another about a car that's supposed to look and act like a rhino. It's all a bit redundant.
Oh, is that
to be
what
honest,
Scars is?
but
That's
it's forgivable, because it's actually a
interesting.
pretty
Sounds a little bit like
playable game.
Chocobo Racing.
It doesn't break any new ground by any stretch of
Or
the
Sonic R
imagination.
or something like that.
Look at all of the options that are in Mario Kart and you've pretty much got the idea. There's a Grand Prix mode, challenges, one-on-one racing, time attacks, with Ghost Racer, and up to 4-player multiplayer. Cars can carry 2 weapons at once, they can jump, there are turbos, the track split into multiple routes. Sound familiar? The handling is very sweet though, and there's enough in there to keep you occupied. S.C.ARR.S.
Maybe I need to play Scars.
Doesn't get much for originality,
You know what? I might do that
but
after
it's
this.
certainly a dot better than most of the crap racing games on the N64. John SCRS doesn't suffer too much from any one problem, it just isn't all that fun. The graphics are okay, especially all the impressive light sourcing. But to me, the tracks aren't exciting. They're so twisty and erratic it becomes a chore to stay on the road, let alone target vehicles. The kitty power-ups and constant power sliding doesn't help Eve, and the frame rate is average at best. What's left? Not much but a mediocre game. DASCRS seems a little rough around the edges when you first play it, but once you get used to the game's controls, everything becomes a lot more tolerable. The graphics are extremely nice, quite sharp for an N64 game, with none of that annoying blur, and the gameplay, while hardly revolutionary, is well balanced and fun. It lacks the overall appeal found in games like Mario Kart or DKR, beauty it's still a solid racer. John, with the likes of games like Mario Kart 64, Diddy Kong Racing and F-Zero X/ on the N64, S.CR.S. becomes a lot tougher to swallow. The music is grating and the action seems stilted during certain races. Some of the graphical effects that are nice on the PS version aren't pulled off as
There's
effectively
this PS
on the
version.
N64, like the rear light trails and the headlights. Even on its own, this is an uninspired racer with little new to offer. Sush.
Sushi, I think is. I might try this. I'm gonna try out Scars. They seem to just sort of view it as average, but it seems like an interesting idea, if nothing else. Let's see. Let's see if EGM was right, and it's actually just either average or slightly above average. What all this quap, exactly? Graphics look pretty good for N64. Oh, because I have the Rumble pack in. You know what? Okay, continue without saving. It's got 4 players. That's cool. Alright, I can be... that one. Oh, it supports the Rumble pack. Okay. Well, graphics are definitely better than like Mario Kart or DK Racing. Frame rate, at least on this emulator, is pretty smooth. Granted, it might not be as smooth on like an N64, which wouldn't have had an expansion pack by this point. I can't play these games to save my life, but I like it. Anyway. Yeah, I saw that it was on PS1 as well. PS1 version is, I'm guessing, better, but N64 version is still pretty good. Oh, I should have used Rhino? Oh, well. He has, like, Mario Kart. I have this physical pirated. Ah, okay. Yeah, it seems... When they said that, like, it was, like, animals racing, I was kind of got, like, the idea in my head of, like, Chocobo racing, where it's, like, on foot. Like an on-foot race, kind of like, you know, again, like Chocobo Racing or Sonic R or something. No, it really is just Mario Kart. Okay, Space Station Silicon Valley. What is this? The silicon chip inside of it set
Elder 64, Perfect Dark, Turok 2, you know you're going to buy those games, but for a moment, let's forget about the hype and take a look at a quiet cart named Space Station Silicon Valley.
Oh shit.
This surprise game came out of nowhere and seriously hooked me. It's innovative, original, and a hell of a lot of fun. The animal system is ingenious, with each of the 60-some wildlife having unique skills you must exploit properly to solve all the puzzles. Combine this with the well-designed levels, and you have a game that is dressed for success. Speaking of the levels, still can't believe how well thought out they are. Not only did the programmers plan for every contingency, so you'll never get completely stuck somewhere because you picked the wrong animal for the job, but they allowed for multiple solutions for most objectives.
Seems like they really like this.
This gives you a real feeling of satisfaction when you figure out all on your lonesome how to complete each non-linear level. Brilliant.
Is this a Ronnie approved game?
I'd be remiss, however, not to mention SSSV's shortcomings. The music is ultra annoying. The game has a few very hard to find bugs
DMA
where
design
you can get
could be
stuck in some
interesting.
polygons, or
I
you
might try
pass
this.
a wall that's supposed to be impassable. And finally, the camera work really, really stinks, but still, have to give this
Well, it's an
game my hearty
N64 game.
recommendation.
You get what you get.
Dar, this is one of the most ingenious and original games I've come across in a long time. Don't be fooled by the 3D platform look. This TS a fine example of well-crafted game design. It may seem silly at first. After all, playing as a sheep or being a rat that craps explosives is a little odd, but the interaction between the numerous species is incredible. As a feat of Al alone, this is exemplary. More importantly, it's fun and humorous. John, here's another DMA game that,
Oh,
like
you know
Body
what? I have
Harvest,
played this,
seems
I
to have
think.
been in
I remember
development
now,
forever.
like you playing as the sheep.
And also, like
It's an
Body
interesting
Harvest,
game.
the marathon development effort really shows. This game is a massive, funny, expertly crafted adventure puzzle hybrid that's so thoroughly entertaining.
I
that
have
forgive the
played this,
apple-sino
yes.
annoying camera angles with its huge variety
It's an interesting
of critters
game.
and puzzles.
I don't
Every
know if it
level
was
packs
really
a
my
unique
thing,
gameplay
but
twist.
I appreciated the hell
Chris,
out of it.
IL, you don't play
I was
games
too busy
like this every
appreciating
day.
it and couldn't
Space
actually play
Station
it.
Silicon Valley is a quirky little adventure title that has as much challenge as it does offbeat humor. The game is huge and has plenty of different objectives to keep things interesting. The control of the various animals could have been better and the music can get quite annoying, but overall this is one very well-designed game that's definitely worth checking out. Sush.
Alright. I'm not gonna play it because I'm pretty sure I've played that on stream before. WCW NWO Revenge. There were a lot of shitty wrestling games out around this time. Is this one of them? Well, judging by the reviews, maybe not.
At first glance, Revenge looks like a Warzone killer. The graphics are way better than War and Zones, if you can believe it. And the number A of animations packed into this cartridge is calm staggering. If you're only looking at the 2-4 games, there's no comparison. Revenge is champ. The gameplay, however, is a different, R equals section story. This game is very easy to get into, perhaps too easy. Every move can be pulled, RLL off with a minimal of fuss, hit a couple of ES tons, maybe press the D-pad and boom, 1H easy pile driver or suplex coming up. This wasn't a big deal back in the WCW vs NWO, aka World Tour days. But after playing Warzone, SBL where controller motions are slightly more AI complex, Revenge's simplicity is a bit of a let-down. Even worse, every character has the same set of simple controls. Unlike in Warzone, once you've learned one wrestler in 2 Revenge, you've learned them all. Thankfully, this game has so many wrestlers, each with a I equals section different set of animations for those same 3 controls. The variety keeps things interesting. The game is light on modes, no create a pound player, training mode or cage matches, but when you're having a blast in 4-player tag team or battle royal, you won't really care.
Battle
Overall,
Royal.
Revenge falls short of a few gameplay standards that Warzone set, but it's a very solid and fun title nonetheless. Dan G1S4, WCW/NWO Revenge is missing a couple of elements that Warzone has which really like, particularly the create player mode. as well Faye as a steel cage match, but on the whole, I prefer Revenge. The graphics and animation FH are far superior to Warzone, and prefer the 2i more simplified gameplay system. As was the ID case with WCW vs. NWO last year, 4P play is, too, an absolute blast. You won't find many FD third-party games, that's for sure. John REY = par, don't know what happened, but lately really just like wrestling games. Maybe it's because fall companies like Asmec have been making 3 excellent wrestling titles. Like every other wrestling game I've played, the multiplayer P modes in Revenge are what I enjoy the most. Yeah, the one player is fun but nothing really, compares to beating up on shoes overall. Revenge is a very solid wrestling game in both how it looks and how it plays. Sean, this is by far the most inclusive Wrestling 3 game I've ever seen. Every wrestler I've ever heard of ice in there, every venue too. It's a mighty pretty too, seamless graphics and smooth animation. Have a problem with the SS controls though. To me it feels too hit or miss. You initiate a hold, hit a button and the guy may or may not perform the move.
That's just called a wrestling game.
I'm more apt to play Warzone, but I'll admit this is good. Dean Pound.
Alright. What we got here? We've got... Okay, now we're at PlayStation games. Armored Core... Project Phantasma? I don't think I played that one. I think I've only ever played the first Armored Core. Is this one, like, significantly different? They didn't like it. It's like... straight down the middle vibes.
Poor fear in Beitais Kavesian. Shini A0 Noid = 2. It's usually easy to say that fans of an original will probably like the sequel. Whether or not you will like Project Phantasma, however, depends on what you expect from a sequel. While officially more of an expansion disc than a true sequel, Phantasma has some new missions, weapons, and options. What hasn't changed are the game's graphics and the entire interface. This may not have been such a setback if PP were released within a year of the original title, but it's been almost 2-3 years now. PlayStation graphics have come a long way since the original AC, making old Phantasma seem extremely dated. The new 2% missions are much more challenging than the 3 original ones.
Yeah, I didn't know Armored Core was that early of a game.
You can use the if data you've worked up from the first Armored = 3 core with Project Phantasma. You may want us to also consider that there hasn't been a Sim-Fae-Ilery-styled game released since the original AC, which would make this follow-up a WL and come relief for fans of the genre. Overall, there just isn't enough here to recommend Phantasma to anyone but the hardcore Armored Core fans out there. Do you even exist? If you don't own the original and are interested in the game, check out Phantasma.
They would grow to
51.
exist.
There's not all that much new, and you'll probably find the original at a more affordable price now anyway. Sushi = 3 if you played the original Armored Core. As well, here it is again, with new bits. In the
Did Armored Core 2 come out on the... No, I think the actual Armored Core 2 came out on, like, PS2,
but you've got
right?
to really dig the genre for it to really give you the horn. While can appreciate the myriad of features, the game doesn't really do it for me. 3 the missions are suitably varied, and the combat is okay, but I'd have liked to see analog IS support to bolster the ropey controls. John DJY, Armored Core, when it first came out, was pretty good. But it isn't such a high-caliber game that it needed a sequel, especially when the sequel is only providing new and more difficult missions. Needless to say, if you want more of the same, then Project Phantasma is an alright buy. Just don't expect the game to feel like a true sequel. In other words, don't expect better graphics, new gameplay ideas, etc. Danny 3 This game's window of opportunity expired 18 months ago. Project Phantasma is an interesting addition for fans of its predecessor, too, but keep in mind that it's the console equivalent of a mission disc. There really aren't enough enhancements to warrant a new chase, aside from the cool base elements of the game. Building up ACs is fun, and the missions
That is kind
are
of the
fairly
issue with,
challenging,
like,
but if you're really
console versus
interested, try
PC,
renting
especially at
first.
this time. Like,
Chris 1 in.
you wanted, like, an expansion disc, you had to press a whole new game.
Truth is finally out. Sushi loves to bowl. Brunswick Bowling is one of the rare games to feature
Brunswick
the real bowlers
Bowling.
we've come to know from Saturday afternoon telecasts. It also features the real tournament names and bowling lanes that the high rollers play on. The graphics are good for a bowling
8-6.
game. but
Whoa, who's
subpar
this guy who gave it
compared to
a
other
3? I'm
titles.
interested in reading that.
Character models are animated well and show good resemblances to the pro bowlers. The backbone of any bowling simulation is the physics of the ball in relation to the lane, in relation to the pins, etc. Fortunately, Brunswick does a great job at this and
Wow, that
features
is
some of the
varied.
most reliable
Someone gave it an
ball
8 and
spins
then
ever
someone gave it a
seen in
3.
a bowling title. Put simply, the balls react in a very realistic manner. The Achilles heel of many bowling games, including Brunswick, is the easy strike syndrome. There are definitely ways to always get strikes, and the CPU doesn't do enough to make it hard on you. There are other annoying gaffes like the unnatural delay between you throwing the ball and
I don't
the
know if
sound
that was
of
ever
it
really
hitting the game.
solved until,
It would
like,
be nice if there were some
Wii Sports.
variations
I don't know
in
if there
the
was
crowd
ever
cheers
really a
as well.
good bowling game until
Would
Wii
say
Sports.
that this
To
is
be
the
fair,
best
that's
bowling game
me as, like, a
available on the
young kid
PlayStation,
saying
but
that. Like,
considering that there's only
I grew
one
up with
other
Wii
bowling
Sports,
game
and
out there,
every
that
other
wouldn't be
bowling
saying
game I've
much.
ever played just feels
Sushi
kind of
bowling.
pedestrian
It's a weird
compared to
sport.
it.
So guess it's okay that Brunswick Bowling is kind of a weird game. Why? It's just strange how serious this game takes itself with the different balls, oil patterns, and such. Graphically, it's decent but nothing special, and the same goes for the music. The physics seem a little screwy on the ball. Overall, it's a little sloppy design-wise, but it gets the point across. Go for it if you're into bowling.
Alright.
Sean, if you've been looking for a desperately easy bowling sim with washed-out graphics, subpar physics, and very little replay value, then you've come to the right place. Everything about this game is so vanilla you just have to laugh at it. Why would anybody,
Dude, then give it a
especially
5
gamers,
or something.
want to play a bowling game that strives to be serious? But then again, it wouldn't matter how they present it, the weak gameplay would kill it anyway. Deemed the toughest area to tackle in a bowling game is obviously the physics model. In this aspect, Brunswick Bowling rocks. The ball and pins move so realistically, you'd think you could improve your real-life scores by practice, ing on your PS. But realism doesn't translate into excitement. You might
They
take
didn't
one
understand
click out
Armored
to play
Core.
a
Well,
quick
like,
here and there,
to be fair though, like,
Solitaire
you're
on the
paying
PC,
full
but
price
don't
for what's
expect
essentially
something
just
you
an
can play for
expansion
hours.
pack. Like,
Dan,
that's kinda... Like, at the time, you could kind of understand being like, oh, I have to pay like $30 or $40 for a game that's basically the same, but just with some slightly different levels. It's just like, you know, it's different. Like with the PC, like PC, you could, you know, just get an expansion pack. You couldn't really do like a real expansion pack on PlayStation. Also, hello, Cerulean. Alright, and then what we got here? Colony Wars. Vengeance. I'm not super familiar with Colony Wars. Maybe I should play that. I mean, I was surprised at how well I was kind of able to gel with, Yeah, that entry was an expansion. I think they liked Armored Core, like, in general.
Colony Wars. Vengeance surpasses
They were
the
just saying,
original
like,
in
oh, this is an
nearly every
expansion,
way.
it's probably not worth full
Visually,
price.
it's another jaw-dropper. The new weapons, including homing energy blasts, laser cutters, and helper pods, are all killer. Plot-wise, the game is even more engrossing, packed with
This looks like a
Psygnosis
big
trademark
heaping
stunning
bowl of
FMV.
not my thing.
Best of all, I've never seen missions this innovative. Instead of the blah escort and patrol missions of most space combat sims,
8,
CW,
6.
V's 40, plus sorties have you
Oh, no,
doing
wait.
crazy stuff like grappling asteroids and
8,
hurtling them into enemy
8.5,
bases,
9,
remote guiding
and a
energy
9.
missiles into distant targets,
Well, they
even
liked it
taking on
a lot.
boss-like ships. The ground-based missions make a great addition, too, with your dropship featuring new flight dynamics
It doesn't...
to master.
Oh, it does use
But-
the same
and
engine,
here's
but
my
it's not
major
an
gripe.
expansion.
As difficult
They kind
as
of, like,
Colony
made
Wars
it seem
was,
as if it was an
skinny play
expansion.
compared to CWV. You'll come across missions so supremely hard that you'll replay
It is a
them
sequel?
for days
Okay.
before you can beat them. Your wingmen still aren't very helpful. You can save more frequently now, but not always after every mission. Failure still kicks you into new missions, and it's easy to reach the unhappiest of the 6 endings. But sit down, take a deep breath, and prepare for endless frustration if you want to beat enough missions to see the best endings.
Colony Wars,
Chris
I mean,
and
they're
truly
hyping it up,
epic
and
game that
obviously,
really shows what the
over the
PlayStation
years,
can do.
like, a lot of other people
As
have
a
hyped
fan
it
of
up,
game
but it's just
design,
like, this
CWV
seems like a
is
big heaping
shining
bowl of not my
example to
thing,
other
honestly.
space opera action games.
Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I would like
Graphically,
Colony
it's
Wars.
incredible. The team has achieved what would seem to
Yeah,
be
thanks for the
impossible
clarification.
and
I
has
don't know shit
outdone the
about
original.
Armored Core either.
Missions are well thought out, and the sense of progression you get is very satisfying. It can get really tough though, especially on those land missions. John D. The first Colony Wars wowed me to no end. Now the
It's an
sequel is out, and I'm
expansion
equally
in that you
impressed.
can load...
The
Oh, you can
only
load
drawback
Armored
is how
Core
ridiculously
ACs
hard
into
the missions
Project
are, but can't deny
Phantasma
how much fun have trying to complete them.
and use them
One thing
in
don't
your game. Actually,
understand
that's
are the
kind of
voices,
cool.
More specifically,
That it lets
the
you do that.
laymax. Screams and such when you kill enemies. Would trained pilots scream like this? No.
Maybe.
Overall, a must-buy for the Flyboy. Sean, it seems impossible for the original Colony Wars to be outdone, but the sequel does just that. Better graphics, intense play, and objective, diverse missions are just a few of the new elements of Vengeance. The story of your character took a backseat
Getting
to the
Human
overall
Plus
space opera
in
the last game,
AC1
but
is
it's
the
a very
only
integral
way
part of the drama
to
this
get
time around.
it in Project
Space shooters don't
Phantasma
get
as
any better
well
than
as
this.
Master of
Much
Arena
tougher
later.
this time, though. Tsuchi.
Suikoden 3 on PS2 lets you well, yeah, I know the Suikoden games let you do that. I think Suikoden 2 let you do that as well. From Suikoden 2 to Suikoden 1. Alright, what game is this? Hey, Mike Wolf. Happy Turkey Day.
The original Tecmo's Deception was a unique trap game
Deception.
that enjoyed a cult following, despite its crude
Zargo.
graphics and steep
Zargo, I
learning
guess.
curve. The sequel takes everything that was special about the first title and makes it into a game that can and should be enjoyed by a much wider audience. That doesn't mean any of the more disturbing aspects of the first game are gone. In fact, there has never been a game that has presented such moral dilemmas as Deception 2. The graphics match the mood of the game and so do the character models. The death
played the
animations that result
Deception
from traps
games.
can be quite gruesome and often sad. Sad because the victim usually has some last words which make you feel rotten for taking such pleasure in knocking the crap out of them. Deception 2 still
This game
has its flaws,
sounds
though.
really
The
fucking
English
ahead of its time.
translation
I gotta
is
play the
choppy in
Deception
places,
games,
and the
maybe.
story gets too convoluted for its own good. The environments sometimes break up and you can see through walls accidentally. The enemies don't get really smart
9, 8,
till you're very far into the
8.5,
game
and
either.
7.5 is the most
Despite these
negative.
distractions, Deception I1 is highly addictive and has a lot of replay value. Even if it didn't have multiple endings, I'd play through it numerous times to try to perfect new trap combinations or to discover new traps. This one's a keeper. Sushi, I have to admit that wasn't expecting much from Deception 2. The original, although fun, was a bit sloppy and had a high learning curve. The sequel, however, gives you a totally different experience. Setting traps is easy to figure out and the replay value is high. The game throws all kinds of plot twists at you which makes for some confusion, but it does keep things moving. With 6
bye, ours.
possible endings, Kajiro is a good bet. Dan Man loves sick stuff like this. Deception 2 keeps the novel, twisted gameplay of the excellent original, while adding a little TRA in the form of the main character, and even wilder traps. The best addition by far is the trap combo system, which makes for some wildly gruesome replays. Being able to use obstacles from the environment in traps is a big plus, too. Only wish the environments themselves looked better. Crispin, I never played the original Deception, but nonetheless I'm psyched by this Resident Evil meets Trap Gunner hybrid. The deception part of the game is nuts. So many lies, so many traitors, it's hard to keep track. For me, the strategy involved in building the perfect booby trap is the best part. Luring enemies into the evil creations is oh so satisfying. Wish it was a little faster and the text was cleaned up, but otherwise it's not bad. Gene.
Alright, let's look at Moto Racer for PS1.
My review of Moto Racer 2 is gonna seem like a broken record of my review for the first game.
Oh, Moto
The
Racer
excellent graphics,
2.
now spiced up with snow and rain effects, still deliver an incredible sense of speed, even if the frame rate slips once in a while. Your bike still controls fine with the standard joypad, although much prefer analog. Still really dig the game's 50-50 mix of high-speed street racing and motocross power sliding action. The power slides feel great on the DualShock. And, as before, the two-player mode packs the same sense of speed as single-player, although multiplayer still lacks our opponent's eye to challenge human players. Some of my old gripes are the same, too. The medium difficulty is too tough, and you'll really need to master the tracks on easy first. Speaking of tracks, MR2 offers 4 times more than the first game. You get 24 to begin with, and an additional 8 open when you beat the various championship modes, and that's not counting the mirror tracks. It sounds like a lot of tracks, sure, but many are slight variations of others. Even better, you get a track editor that lets you create courses from scratch or modify the existing ones, then race on them in a custom championship. This editor is easy to use, but it doesn't let me get as crazy with the jumps as would like. Chris, I really dug the first Moto Racer last year, and surprisingly, the sequel is even better. I'm a sucker for fast-paced adrenaline-pumping gameplay, you should know this by now, and MR2's arcade mode has it in serious amounts. The track designs are great, the graphics are beautiful, and the control, analog especially, is sweet. Two-player play is fun, too. Not too much of a jump from last year's MR, but it's just as much fun. John the First, I've been a Moto Racer fan since day one. I'm relieved they retained the same game engine, but I'm aboard with the look. Otherwise, the meat of the game is fine. 32 tracks with interesting weather effects, snow, rain, sandstorms, are more than enough. Night racing looks great too. The track editor is a bit hard to use, and limited, but is still a nice feature. I'd put Moto Racer 2 in the top 5 PS racing games of all time. Steer up until Moto Racer came around, good bike racing games on the PS were fantasy. Now, Moto 2's out, and once again, it outshines
What about Cosmic
all of its
Racer? That's the best racing
competition.
game.
The graph, which isn't too difficult to beat, this game is fast. I'm glad the game has invisible track walls to keep my bike on the road. The intuitive track editor is a nice addition. This is a fun, action-oriented racer. Don't expect a sim, even with the game's simulation mode. Die ACS Rule Jund Ingenuity Ref.
Alright. You know, like, there's not many, like, reviews I've seen all throughout, like, looking at EGM that I've just flat out disagreed with. I think the only one I can think of is, like, Star Tropics, where people were giving it, like, a 4 and a 5 out of 10.
Motorhead.
There's a game called
Here's
Motorhead?
Lenny
Oh, it's just a racing
Their
game.
song,
Sad.
The group that is, Mean Machine would go great. Won't beat around the bush, Motorhead is graphically a solid game if not a little bland in the detail department. The dull gray, foggy graphics are a bit too N64-ish for me, particularly when the PlayStation is capable of such intense colors. Many, but not all, of the Lamborghini-like cars lack interesting detail as well. Say, if you're gonna use non-licensed vehicles, make them as interesting as possible. But nonetheless, it's not that major when there are more pressing flaws in the game. For one, the power sliding doesn't feel convincing. It seems like the cars are on invisible spindles rotating a few degrees one way, then rotating back. It looks and feels very automatic. And while power sliding is only one element of racing, it's important that it's a fun part of the game. For example, Need for Speed does power sliding very well, lots of fun. Okay, one more big complaint equals where are all the other cars? A 5-car field is pretty weak by today's racing game standards. I'm sounding quite harsh overall, but keep in mind the game isn't fatally flawed, it just has a few too many poor points. It ranks in there with many middle-of-the-road PlayStation racers, peak performance,
There's a Metroid.
Grand Tour racing, the list goes on and on.
There's a
Dean,
game
maybe
like
the
a
frame rate
Metroid
is high
version
and
of
the
Star
control is
Tropics on the
tight, but that's
FDS
about all
called
Motorhead
AI.
has going for it, I'm
Okay.
afraid. The pop-up and fogging in this game is unacceptable, high frame rate or not. The physics
Wait,
model is
no, are you talking
incredibly
about,
annoying, like when your car flips
what is that?
around wildly when
Al
it
something
barely touches
Nicole,
what seems
whatever?
to be a curb.
That Konami game?
With games like NFS3 and Gran Turismo available, can't think of a good reason to get Motorhead. Sean, graphically Motorhead is extremely impressive, if a little gray and dull in some places. Switching views is puke-inducingly horrible, and panning around the
Yeah,
car,
Al Sensi
however fast and cool
Nicole.
looking,
Yeah,
just
exactly.
isn't friendly.
Yeah, I played that. That's a good one.
It's no Gran Turismo. It strikes me as more of a quick fix racer rather than something you'd invest any serious time in. It's a shame Motorhead, the band, didn't do the music. Instead, we get some god-awful techno as **T. John D. Motorhead is an average racer with decent graphics and sounds. The track designs
Yeah, they missed a
are
golden
interesting,
opportunity to
making
license
you
some
wish
Motorhead
there were more
music.
tracks. The lead mode unlocks extra cars, but doesn't let you upgrade current vehicles and has no story, limiting the replay factor. There are plenty of racing games out there that offer everything Motorhead has and more, which makes it hard to recommend it.
Yeah, I see
Racing
now.
fans may be disappointed. Sushi Rare SRLL.
Okay. NASCAR 99. I think I actually had this on N64. It's an alright game. I don't remember if it was 99 or 98. Either way, it was a fine racing game.
I was, and still am, a big fan of NASCAR 98. The great gameplay
Oh, it is?
and realistic
Oh, it's I
vehicle
Sent You,
physics
Nicole?
are really
Okay.
nice, not to mention the awesome authentic motor sounds. That's why I'm sorry to report NASCAR 99 has a slightly less desirable personality than its predecessor, 14 Soar. Right off the bat, the graphics look a little, A3 washed out and a bit on the sparse side. Three little things like chunky shadow effects and e.g. one-color track surfaces bring down the AES, aesthetics somewhat. Granted, it's not bad, but normally expect sequels to look better than to their previous editions.
My
especially
experience with
when
the
it's a fun
N64
EA.
version is that it was also
My
pretty
other
average.
big complaint, the wimpy,
If you're a
poor
fan of
motor sounds.
NASCAR, good
The
news.
cars
It's a
sound like a
pretty
lot
decent.
less
It's
is
an
than
alright
the
kind of like
700
simulation style
horsepower
racing
monsters
game.
they are. 3. This is especially disappointing since NASCAR H98 had such good sound. On the brighter LD
Oh shit,
side,
you know what?
lots of
Yeah, if there
in-car
was a
mods and
98,
few
then
extra
yeah, I
equals
think I
tracks
had
add some
98
depth
actually
to
on
the game.
N64. I guess
Although
99
degree,
isn't
I
as
don't
good.
think some of
Maybe
them,
is what
like
they're saying.
Wake Jack, Be Smiley Face ING, do a whole lot. Bottom line, I would rather play last year's edition of NASCAR. It just feels more authentic and playable to me. This version tries too hard to be in-depth and sim-like and, in the end, doesn't pull it off too well. It's still a decent racer, especially when using the in-car view, but wish EA would have kept it more basic with more emphasis on the gameplay. Gameplay is everything. Dean FA took on this review to see if NASCAR 99.8 would appeal to a NASCAR newbie like myself. Well, it doesn't. Sure, the game nearly overloads you with ways to modify your car, too, but never really noticed any significant 3 changes to my performance, despite my 3 degrees tweaking. The graphics are only so-so. And EY the 2-player mode fails to deliver a sense J equals section of speed, the scenery crawls by like you're 4. Doing 35 instead of 180 miles per hour. Kristen G3 round and round and round and round. Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Love cars and love racing, but the harder developers try to produce authentic NASCAR simulations, the less fun they get. As a real sport, it's very competitive, but this really isn't conveyed well in the game. The presentation is up to EA's usual standards, but tonight's just so dull I go into a
Can you, like,
weird kind
step out of the
trance
car
as
to,
the
like,
race
yell at
drags
somebody
on
and then get hit
on.
by another car?
John D equals
Like a
as I've said
NASCAR?
before, I'm not in the least bitsy interested in real NASCAR racing, but usually dig the home versions, as was the case with this year's N64 NASCAR 99. Unfortunately, S can't say PM all that hot on NASCAR 99 for G the PS. The game is loaded with options and 3 features, but the graphics are yucky and the 3 game speed just
Ew,
crawls.
yucky.
160 miles per hour in NASCAR 99 feels more like 40 miles per hour. Unless you're a big NASCAR fan, definitely pass. John RVETYSE. Your rival schools is Capcom's answer for all of us, critics who are tired of 15 million streaked LD Fighter sequels.
Alright, here's Rival
Funny thing
Schools.
is, Rival Schools plays like most SF games. If you can do a Dragon Punch
Enough
or
of this
Fireball,
NASCAR shit, we got
you'll
real
feel
games.
right at home. Despite the obvious similarities, Rival 4 Schools has enough going for it to let it stand, equals 3 on its own 2 feet.
Ganbare!
The characters and most, i.e.d. of their moves are entirely new, with the 3 exception of guest
Rival
star
Schools
Sakura.
is a pretty
The
unique
team-up
fighting game, I must
although
say.
not quite
I
as
like
cool as
kind of like the
tag-yo
aesthetic
teaming
of
in the
it.
versus games, still adds spice to the standard one-on-one fighting game for Anula.
Rival
Did mention
Schools,
Rival Schools
exactly.
is full of 5 technique? Ditch, then spins. Throw escapes. Equals tardy counters. Lightning crushes. Even ES though Rival Schools is of the flashy variety JE, meaning 10-hit Super Dragon Punch combos, IED and the such, timing and hardcore technique GS are still key. A person could spend a heck of a long time mastering this game. A flashy tech, jig, and nickel fighter? I'm sold. But wait, there's more. 3 Capcom has given us a ton of extras, over 320 secret characters, hidden mini-games, a very cool graded lesson mode and more. It's PS very, very unfortunate Capcom left out the 3 edit fighter / school life mode, due to JR Lation / timing issues, but the package is still equals X packed with enough goodies to make it worth JD your hard-earned bucks. Dan Rival Schools is one of the most stylish, fun-to-play fighting games I've played in a long time. Even if it were just a direct arcade port, 3, I'd be satisfied, but the evolution disc makes 3 it all that much better. The minigames area, Y-section blast,
There's a
and all of the
minigames
little
area?
extras
Is that what
and
the
cool
evolution disc
options
is?
will
Just
keep you
minigames?
occupied for weeks. It's
I mean, honestly,
equal sign.
I'm a-
Too bad
that's
they
kinda
had
cool.
to cut some stuff from the equals US
They
version.
gave you an
Lame.
entire other
But
disc,
what's there is
including
still
the
4 highly entertaining.
rival schools. I didn't even know
Great
that.
game. John R3 equals E. There's something about this game that is so incredibly cool that find myself utterly and addicted to it. Maybe it's the fact that underneath all of the flash, showy effects, and gore %GS graphics, it's still an extremely satisfying fighting game with great control and plenty of depth. Even without all of the extra features, it would be a fab game, but with them, it's guaranteed to keep fighting game fans satisfied post-Tekken 3. John D equals
They have a
like all
history
Capcom
of
fighters
leaving
these days, Rival 3
some
schools
modes
blends
out
technique from
of the
various other two
Western
titles and
version.
molds it into a
Project
style all
Justice
its own.
lost a board game
The 8 to 4
minigame.
outrageous
Interesting.
attacks mask a game engine S that is loaded with technique and combo possibilities. There are lots of secrets to S unlock and plenty of team-up attacks to try. The character designs, which can be viewed later in the game, are among some of the best Capcom has done. Coochie. Like both of the Twisted Metal games and Critical Depth, the graphical quality in Rogue Trip just isn't there.
Rogue Trip.
If you compare Rogue
guess
Trip
the-
to Vigilante 8, this is
I
apparent
guess it's like
from the
Twisted
get-go.
Metal. Never heard of this
Luckily,
one.
Rogue Trip plays like a dream and gives you all kinds of play modes, most of which are a lot of fun.
Game
This
Gear,
is
you
no
ever play this
surprise
one?
Considering it's from the same
Rogue
company
Trip? I've
that
never heard of
brought us
this.
TM and TM2, those games rock.
EGM really
The
likes it.
control is
9,
great,
8.5,
especially with the
9, and
DualShock,
8.
Although I don't like the analog control that much. The power-ups are excellent though, and the stages are a joy to
Very
play
much
through.
not an LDP
As
game,
you'd
but
expect,
you might be into
in
it.
addition to your enemies, there's a load of stuff to blow up in all of the levels. Even though wasn't into the whole tourist and photo op thing at first, it grew on me. The vacation theme makes Rogue Trip's gameplay more interesting, more than just a shoot/drive-away/shoot type of game. Still, there are times when just want to straight out kill my enemies.
Same devs
which is where the game's hearty
behind
number
Twisted
of
Metal
play
1 and
modes
2.
come
Are you
in.
sure you're not thinking of Vigilante
Especially
8?
like the
I
two-player
thought that
modes.
was
They're awesome.
like the Twisted Metal
What's
1 and 2
interesting is how
devs
playing
after Twisted
cooperative
Metal 1 and
makes these
2.
modes more fun. The link option is cool for those of you who can use it. Overall, even though Rogue Trip doesn't look all that great, it's a load of fun to play. Sean, even though the single-track power combat games are graphically outdated by today's standards, thanks to Vigilante 8, they're still the most fun. Rogue Trip may look like another Twisted Metal, but the simple little addition of tourists, whom you have to pick up and escort around, makes all the difference. It's a silly but fun idea. 4-player link and weapon upgrading are nice features too. Better than Twisted Metal 2? You bet. Jan Rogue Trip delivers all the car blasting action I'd want from the unofficial sequel to Twisted Metal 2, while managing to stay
okay, you're
incredibly
right.
fresh.
This is the unofficial
You
sequel
get
to Twisted
huge
Metal 2.
arenas with loads of secret stuff. And the Nab the Tourist Goal, as crazy as it sounds, is a super fun addition to the classic formula.
AKA the unofficial
But the
Twisted
ability
Metal
to
3.
play through the game in
Really
two-player
say-
co-op mode is the best feature. Only wish the 4-player link mode had a few more options. Crispin, I wasn't a big fan of Twisted Metal. To me it seemed unplayable due to its cramped environments. Rogue Trip, on the other hand, is very playable as well as completely addictive. The environments are vast with tons of room for roaming and destroying.
Open up Twisted
The
Metal. That's
objectives
not a
are
bad
simple,
idea, actually.
leaving the emphasis on the combat where it should be. Can't complain about much, even like the music. Twisted Me, Air, SSW Nan.
Alright. This game seems pretty popular then. I'm sure Game Gear's played it. The Rogue Trip.
AS.C.
Oh, here's the PlayStation version of Scars.
.S. Reminds me a little bit of Crystal, Dynamics Off-World Interceptor,
5.5, 7.5, 7, and a 6. So,
neither
pretty
game
similarly,
was that great,
like,
and
mid
unfortunately neither is
reviews
S.C.AAR.S.
as the
I'm
N64
not condemning
one.
it completely. Think younger kids will like it a lot. Just don't know if that's a compliment or not.
I think
What you
maybe
know is that
slightly
sliding
higher,
around
but
twisty,
mostly the same.
bump-filled roads in cartoony vehicles gets old quite fast. The cars themselves are
Wolfpack.
loose, 8LY based on exotic animals, you know, lions too and other such aggressive beasts who lend 1 to 3 their
Happy
personas
Gobble
well
Day.
to vehicles of destruction. 5 kids love
Happy
beasts,
Turkey
don't
Yowie.
they? Anyway, that ELE-24 men seems kitty, as do all the goofy F power-ups that literally litter the courses in 2 great numbers. About every few seconds and another set of icons hover in the road waiting J and 4 to be absorbed. Wish they were less plenty equals full. Not that power-ups are a bad thing, but W having them constantly in your face is annoying. Plus it takes your attention away from the object of the game, blowing
Elgor,
enemies off
yes.
the road. Also, for a racing game the frame rate is a little slow, especially
By the way,
on multiplayer
last
races.
chance.
Okay, so that's why older players may not like the game. Kids on the other hand will like the simplicity of the gameplay, the morph-type animal vehicles, and the bright graphics.
Oh,
So go tell Junior
let you know
all
when
about
I'm
it.
done. When this is
Dean Equalsy, having spent a long time with the N64 Thad Shaun, was expecting this one to suffer a little 3 in terms of graphics. Thankfully, it more than holds its own, even without the fancy lighting G effects. Upon further examination it actually, Section Degree 3 seems to
Graphics,
be a slightly better
exactly.
game on the PlayStation.
Turbo
The controls
graphics.
seem far more responsive, with power slides feeling much better here and the music and sound being unsurprisingly superior. John D3, when first played SCRS, wasn't all that impressed. After playing for a while and getting the hang of the controls though, the game started to grow on me. The graphics are beautiful, as nice as the N64 version, and the control is tight. Some of the tracks are a little unforgiving, especially later ones, but
That's
the
cool.
overall design is still pretty impressive. It's not the most original racer in town, but I'd still recommend giving it a try. John RE3, I've always thought that someone should make a racing game in the mold of Mario Kart on the PlayStation. SCRS comes FA pretty
Turns
close,
out, like,
with
a
similar
whole bunch of
racing
people
mechanics
ultimately
and
would.
colorful
I
courses.
think, I don't know when Crash
What
Team
brings
Racing
it
came
down
out,
is
but I don't
G
think it
that
was
it
that
doesn't
far
have the personality to stand
in the
on
future of
its own.
this.
It's not good enough to be recommended over, say, Wipeout XL, and it's not wacky enough to dethrone Micro Machines. It's stuck right there in the middle. Chewy high.
Yeah, Giraffics. Yeah, so what I was gonna say is, Eldina Cinema's back. And I'm making it public. So, I have a poll. I've had it up since Sunday. I think you're supposed to call a doctor, if that happens, but we should be fine. Right now, Fire and Ice is leading with 54%. Kung Pao is in second place with 23%. This is Spinal Tap is in third with 15%, and Predator is in last with 8%. So Jewy Ham. Jewy Ham? What? Oh. Jewy Ham. So his first name is Jew? You can just call your child that? Cool. I just like the one, Oh, that's how the narrator... Oh,
Spyro
okay.
raises the bar for 3D mascot type IAOL adventures on the PlayStation. It has slick, fast graphics, with barely any seams, warped textures,
Oh, Spyro
or
the
other
Dragon,
common glitches.
yeah.
The camera is the best
I'm not
I've
really a
seen in
fan of
this type
Spyro the
game.
Dragon, but...
Control is
Oh, hey,
spot on.
look! Tales of
The
Destiny!
music and voice acting are first rate. No surprise, considering the talent behind both.
But yeah, Spyro the Dragon
Even
gets
the
an
title
8.5,
character is a
an 8,
likable little guy.
a 9,
Heck,
and an 8.
Spyro beats the copyright 3 snot out of my former favorite PS mascot OD game, Gex. Enter the Gecko, in almost every FO.
Damn, not even a passing thought for
As in
Crash
Gex,
Bandicoot.
Croc, and their ilk.
It was just
8
like
pound CA Spyro,
Spyro or
stuff,
Spyro or
eggs,
Gex.
3-0,
I mean,
etc.
yeah.
It's fun, sure, and gathering everything on Bid-Fi every level opens a cool
Just about
bonus
anything's better than
stage,
Gex,
but its
including the
equals
wet
are also a
blanket.
gameplay concept that's getting stale. Equals A had the addition of individual objectives, as in, or yes Gex, would have been welcome. And nearly B equals all the bosses are small, easy, and decidedly equals unboss-like. Still, Spyro has its unique quality, eel ties. The enemies, all well animated,
You're going to
demand
name your
varied
kid the
attack
First
strategies
Presbyterian
depending on their size.
Baptist
You'll play
of the
5 flying
sect of the
stages
Lord
that would nearly make
of the
a cool
world.
game on their own.
Good.
In fact, the 35 levels are all
Played
well-designed
Spyro 1 and
and
2
encourage
recently. It was
exploration.
fun. I'm
You'll
just
see lots of distant areas
I'm just not
that
really a
make you
fan of
mumble.
collectathons,
How'd you
and that
get
was
over
kind
that?
of the order of the day.
And
It
for
was,
a cool surprise,
you know,
press
Super Mario
L1 and
64
triangle
did it. A
together
lot
at
of
the
people
start
really
screen.
liked it, so
Kristen equals SES a 7.5 equals
Of course,
Spyro
you're
is
gonna do
easily
that.
the best looking, smoothest to eye, moving 3D platformer on the PlayStation to FOD G date. It's a little bit on the simple side, aside FF from the very cool flying bonus stages. All you, I equals 4, for basically do is run around and collect stuff. 1 equals,
Oh, you
but
played
it's
the
got just
reignited
enough to it
ones,
that
not
it'll
the
keep
original.
boy,
Fair enough.
Even hardened platform
well,
veterans
it's the
hooked
same
free
thing. I'm
A
just
until the end.
Spyro the Dragon is
The
probably
graphics are
fine.
gorgeous,
I'm just not
the
really a fan of
i3
it.
music is solid, and most importantly, the game Dash S is fun. Definitely check it out. John R3 Spyro is to the PlayStation what Banjo-Kazooie is to the Nintendo 64, an
That's fair.
incredibly solid 3D action/adventure that surpasses every other game in its genre that preceded it. Spyro combines the two most important aspects of any good game, graphics and gameplay. Be aware, Spyro can be difficult, but it still feels a little on the childish side at times. I only
kinda
wish
difficult
the
to
control was a
control.
bit more friendly in high-risk areas. Sean 3 very few games totally immerse you into the
Cracked out from
equals game
Banjo-Tooie
as
after
Spyro
finishing
does. The
Banjo-Kazooie
lands you
yourself.
explore are
Yeah, that's the
equals, and the
thing,
enemies
is just
you
I don't
encounter all
like
seem to fit
collectathon-style
equals
games.
3
And
equals well within the
Banjo-Kazooie, Mario
universe the game
64,
creates. ES2X equals 3 the graphics are among the
Spyro,
finest
things
seen on
like that. I
SS.
mean,
The
yeah, you could
PlayStation
argue
and the Play
Crash is a
controls
little
are
bit
3
of a...
perfectly tuned. The The only shortcoming
is a little bit of a
Three
collective
Spiral
fun,
is
but
the
you don't
lack
have
of
to collect the
diversity in his
things.
objectives, which makes for repetitive play.
Collecting everything is like a
nothing comes
massive
close to
pain in the
Spiral
ass,
in this
apparently,
genre.
but
Sushi.
you don't have to do it. I don't know. I think Crash was like the best mascot platformer of this era. Anyway, Tales of Destiny. This is a game I might actually potentially be interested in. Let's see what EGM said about it.
Tales of Destiny looks very much like it was originally designed with the Super NES in mind, but if you can get past the game's extremely 16-bit graphics, you'll find a deep, involving game that's
You were
sure
on the
to
infamous
please
Mighty
fans of old-school
Pooh boss
SNES-style
fight.
RPGs.
Ironically
The
enough.
thing
Yeah,
about Tales of
Conker's just
Destiny
a
that grips
bitch
me
to
the hard
play
most is the
nowadays.
game's dialogue.
Bitch to play, bitch to
It's
control.
not even so pretty much the story, which isn't bad, mind you, though hardly mind-blowing, but rather the way the characters develop and interact with each other and their Swordians. The
How dare it
dialogue
not be
JD
3D?
is very nicely written, and often had me plus laughing out loud. Whoever wrote this really has a gift for touching upon people's emo 53 tie-ins and getting them attached to the child actors, and I'm not just talking about Localiza tie-in, you can tell this was well done even into Japan. Gameplay-wise, Tales delivers. The 5 unique battle system is loads of fun, silly later on when you've learned some of the cooler spells and special attacks,
16-bitty.
and the dungeons
Pickle
are
bitties.
fabulous. They're well designed, they're tough, and they're all over the place. It took me over 40 hours to beat, and was actually trying to hurry. If you're one of those RPGers who likes to find everything, Todd is perfect for you. There are loads of hidden items and secrets, and even a 60-level bonus dungeon.
Oh shit!
Very nice. Genre
That's pretty
section
cool.
of Tales of Destiny is a solid RPG if you don't mind its old school look.
I want to play one of the
graphics
Tales
G
games.
shouldn't
I'm not
matter,
sure which
but
one it's gonna
nearly
be.
everything
I
in
might
this
have.
game
I'm
could have been
thinking
done on
like
the
Tales of
Super NES.
Fantasia just for the Pepsi
Okay,
Beth
there's even
meme,
some
but
Mode 7
I don't
style
know.
effects and equals
Which
there.
one am I most likely gonna
Still,
enjoy?
the game is a lot of fun. The
They
back
all seem
OL
really
trees
good.
are the most interesting part of the game, in my opinion. Overall, RPG fanatics will love 5 Tales of Destiny, but don't expect it to be as BP grand as FF7 or anything. Sean 3
It's better.
Tales of Destiny
FF7 is
16-bit
overrated.
graphics may turn you off at first, but if you stick with it you'll be surprised to find
Overrated
an RPG
game for overrated
that's very
gamers.
much geared toward fans of the genre. Fighting takes place quite a bit, but the innovative battle system makes it a lot more tolerable than the standard menu-based stuff.
Yeah, I do like
The dungeons
Tales
are
battle
challenging,
system.
the soundtrack is excellent, and the story is both interesting and funny.
Tales of
This
Arise
summer
is the
long,
newest
too.
one, and it's usually on
Spin
sale.
Tales of Destiny
I didn't know they
is a
made a
perfect
new one.
example of an
I thought,
old
what is it,
school-style
the
RPG being slightly
Bersaria? I thought that was the newest
revamped
one.
for 32-bit. Colorful hand-drawn graphics couple meant a lush musical score, and it's all top 3
Recently
off by a good
re-released on
story.
Tales of
The
Xillia on
game is
PC.
super long,
Hmm.
and has a nice batch of surprises to
I
keep
don't
us
know.
things
I don't know if I'm gonna
interesting.
buy those now,
If you
but
aren't
cool
bothered
to
by
know.
the lack of polygons, you'll definitely enjoy Todd.
Probably on
Even
sale
if the
now,
graphics
but
do bother you, still Mark Cohen.
I got other things to buy for Black Friday. There's a remake of Destiny on PS2. That's good to know.
too long have waited for a game to represent ID what my kind have specialized in, fighting equals and lusting after busty women.
Tenchu! Oh
wait,
man, Tenchu's a
I'm getting
classic.
confused with Dead or Alive. What meant
That I
was,
wish I could play.
Tenchu has ninjas acting in
hell's
a
this
more
other game? The
realistic way
Unholy
than
War?
any
Never heard of that
previous
one.
video game efforts. And that is
Anyway,
through the use of
7.5,
stealth and
8,
assassination.
8,
It's
and
bound to draw
7.5.
comparisons to Metal Gear, but Tenchu has a CD lot going for it besides the stealth stuff. The environment settings and music are just 2FO of the things that give Tenchu a unique feel. These tunes mix traditional Japanese sound, ing instruments, and vocals with funky bass,
7.5 is a
5
little
lines,
bit
and beats.
smaller. Is a little bit lower than I would have expected.
The version of Tenchu will notice that major flaws have been worked on, like the ID poor enemy owl, bad camera angles, and Virtue.
Oh, is this the
DPL
sequel to
lack of
Tenchu?
difficulty.
Maybe.
Unfortunately, it's still not 5 perfect, as enemies still don't behave as they ID should.
Yeah,
and
it
the
looks
camera
like it. I guess this is a
angles render
sequel
you
to
helpless
Tenchu. I didn't
to
know there
attackers when
was
you're
a sequel to
cornered.
Tenchu on
Would
PS1.
also like to have seen a wider
Oh wait, no,
variety of
actually,
missions which
no, I
didn't
do know
allow you
that, and I
to
think I've
resolve
actually played it.
situations with your sword.
Yeah, this game
biggest
is,
sore point with me
it's
is
pretty
that
much
the US
Tenchu,
voices
just a
are
bit more
completely
refined.
screwed up.
Which, honestly,
They
that's
totally
probably
suck the
the
drama
right
out
thing
of
to
tense
do.
confrontations and become a big distraction. Tenchu has its flaws, but it's still a very nice game. Sushi equals Tenchu reminds me a lot of Metal Gear Solid.
Of course you're gonna
only
put
with a
sushi at
ninja
the top.
and some serious
How dare you.
camera problems. Despite the faulty camera,
That's racist.
which G can get incredibly annoying in tight spots, the game is a lot of fun to play and has a great atmosphere. It would have benefited majorly from analog control and perhaps a mid-stitch save point here and there, but on the whole I still dig it. If you're into the whole H stealth thing, I am, check it out. John R.E. I'm really glad Activision picked up this title and jazzed it up with a host of improvements. Tenchu is a great stealthy adventure title that should tide you over until MGS comes out. The missions are challenging and the music fits the mood of the game perfectly.
We're all
The
just
enemy
waiting for
owl is
MGS to
spotty
come
and
out.
the poor camera will cause more than its share of frustrating moments. These complaints aside, Tenchu is a refreshing, fun and challenging title. And
Sushi?
ESE3 don't understand why Sushi
What about
is so
Sue
down
him?
on equals
Yeah.
the voices
Why
in
are we
Tenchu.
assuming Sue's
Maybe
gender?
it's just me, but I find them to be
That's my
rather
question.
amusing. But enough high about that, Tenchu has other problems. The end camera gets to be so at and #sing frustrating in JE.
Siphon Filter
tight
does
spots that
better
you want
than
to throw your
MGS
controller
and
out the window.
Tenchu. Alright.
It's a bloody shame 3 too,
I
because aside from this
will
dot
take your
and
word
some
for it.
questionable owl, Tenchu is actually a real solid game. Great atmosphere, too. John D.
Yeah, I've played a little bit of Tenchu. It's a game I wish I was better at. It's a game I kind of wish I could play. Speaking of which, I did kind of figure out Command & Conquer, so I don't know if you saw that Game Gear, but I was able to figure out Command & Conquer, so... Ha! You thought I couldn't play it. Joke's on you. You lack faith in me. Deservedly, but... Unholy War, I've never heard of this.
Remember Archon Dak in the day?
Oh, you did see?
INE
Okay.
Unholy War plays a lot like what you'd expect a 32-bit 3D update of that to be, which
Becomes
is a very
less
good
stealthy
thing.
by the
Archon
PSP
is
and
a classic.
PS2. Maybe I
The
need to play those
concept is
then.
pretty much the same. Match off 2 creatures at a time in head-to-head battles. You can do it in a straightforward deathmatch fashion or in a simple strategy board game. The sheer
Oh,
variety in
this
characters
is
and their
not
methods of
my
attack
thing.
are what makes this game an instant hit. When first gave
It's
the
like
game
the
a go,
Strega.
the
Oh!
simplistic
Oh, it's
three-button
Destrega.
attack format
Really?
would quickly
Oh,
grow
so
tiresome
I guess
and
it doesn't
repetitive.
have to be
Hey,
strategy.
pressing a button to launch
I guess
a
that's just
special
one of the
attack takes no
modes that
skill.
they put in.
But I soon discovered every character is unique, and to get good at the game, I'd have to learn to use all of the warriors and their respective arsenals. This gives the Unholy War a healthy dose of replay value, always a big plus in my book.
PSP
This
version
game,
marks
like
specific
Archon, is best played with 2 people. If you're the
areas
solo gaming type,
where
you
you
may
can
not
hide.
dig
That's
the Unholy
cool.
War as
I
much
might
as
need
do.
to check out the PSP thing
Some of
too.
the characters are a bit unbalanced.
Oh, it
Some
was the
battles are
strategy,
over in the blink of an eye because a strong fighter got in a few
maps,
lucky
and
shots.
3D fighting. Interesting.
But that gripe is a minor one. The Unholy War is still a great game. If you're still not convinced, this disc has a beautiful Kane demo. Dan, the more play Unholy War, the more love it.
Pretty broad
Those of you who have
spectrum.
been into
One guy giving it
games
a
for
9, the
years
other
will be
guy
able
giving
to
it a
spot the pedigree
6.5.
behind this, as the Star Control and Archon heritage is more than apparent in gameplay. As a 2-player game, it's great fun, especially in melee combat. Playing on your own though, the strategy game is the one to go for. The mix of 3D action and simple, board game-like tactics is wonderful. John D. The Unholy War is a very interesting and original game. Though fun, the one-player modes are slightly repetitious at times, probably due to Weak Owl had more fun with the different 2-player scenarios, especially the strategy mode of
You
play.
place units on the map,
Don't get me wrong,
and
the
when you
full-on battle modes
encounter
are fun,
an enemy,
but the
you
game just
fight the
lends
Strega
itself to
style.
strategy.
Okay.
Overall, the Unholy War is one to check out, even though it can be repetitive.
That's pretty
Sean,
cool,
Unholy
actually.
War
That reminds
comes
me a little bit of
across
that
as something like a
weird
cross between
Godzilla
Virtual On and
hex
Archon,
strategy
but
game
it
on
doesn't really
NES.
do either game justice. The straight action stuff is fun, but it gets old too quickly. It's definitely better with 2 players. On the other hand, the strategy mode is nice and polished, but it's just too simple for strap buffs. UW is great for a quick diversion, but for long-term replayability, you'd better look elsewhere. Perfect for a rental. John R1CINDC.
I don't know, play
and
multiplayer.
ITYP.
Apparently that'll fix your issues.
X Games has some good points, but
X
overall
Games
I'm
Pro
not sure
Border,
if it's worth
alright.
a purchase. Here's the breakdown.
5.55, so it's like
actual
straight
X
down the
Games,
middle
and
average.
Radical is
Except this
making
one
this
person
game
who
for
gave it a
them.
6.5.
The product has a certain authoritative air. Fans of snowboarding and the whole X Games thing will like how Radical has kept it real with all of the licenses and pro borders. The game has an 8-grade authentic feel to it. In addition, the music rocks and fits the game perfectly, while the trick system is simple and fun to master.
Bet you $1,000,000 this game has Rob Zombie's
Unfortunately,
Dracula
these
in
good
it.
points don't outweigh the bad. Pro Border
Fair to
has
try
one too
Unholy
many
War.
strange
I will
graphic
put it
There's
in
political
the list for
breakup in
Rom
some of the
Porridge.
events, a choppy frame rate in general, and other problems
don't
that
think
can
I
best
have
be
the
described
game.
as jumpy polygons.
Let me
In
look,
addition,
but I
the
don't
hit
think I can
detection needs some work.
right now.
At times, I'd pass a tree or some other obstacle that didn't seem close, yet it would make me bail. And what's the deal with the magnet logs and rails you can slide on? Play it and you'll see what mean. Lastly,
What mean?
the 2-player mode could have been better. The trick courses are pretty decent 2-player, but the downhill course is ridiculous. Dean and myself could hardly see where we were going half of the time. Verdict on this one? Rent first, then decide if it's your thing or not. Sean, this
Okay,
hit
yeah,
game
I
is
don't
all
have it.
about style and attitude. Jay, in those
I'll
regards,
put it in
I'd
my
give it a
round
10.
3.
But in the video game world, you need a bit more. Unfortunately, Pro Border's simple gameplay mechanics won't pull you away from any competing products. Like the game's emphasis toward tricks rather than racing, but the basic control system, even in Pro mode, simply doesn't provide any sort of challenge. Nice graphics though. Dan have nothing against the way this game looks. In fact, it's the best I've seen in its genre. The trouble lies in the dummied-down gameplay. Pulling off tricks is just a matter of holding down a few buttons at the right time. Setting the difficulty on Pro doesn't make it any better, just different. Furthermore, the two-player mode is impossible on many of the courses. Could see younger folks having fun with this, but that's about it. Being one of the first games in Radical's new crop of ESPN licensed titles, X Games certainly is ambitious, if not exactly brilliant. It stars real Pound Mountain Dew chuggin' X Games athletes, if you care about that sort of thing, and packs a killer soundtrack with tunes from Rancid and the Foo Fighters. Stunts are easy
Oh, it's
to
called
pull
The
off,
Unholy
even
War.
in Pro mode. Jam on the buttons and you'll do something crazy. It makes for fun, if not very deep, gameplay. Cryanin.
Is that... What's this? The Intenser... Survival guide. What is the Intenser? Oh, is that... Oh, this is an ad, I think, for a game. Or... Wait, no, this is... What the fuck is this? It's like some controller with a desk chair and, like, a bunch of shit. I think we're done with the reviews. Honestly, I'm not really sure I care about this strategy, like, whatever this is. Bye, Wolf. XG2, not sure what that is. Mortal Kombat 4. Oh, what is this? Oh, Tricks of the Trade. Oh, this is gonna be like dodgy cheat codes. Let's see. I'm probably not gonna look too much into this.
Angels in the outfield after fielding the ball on any play, run to any base except first base.
Yeah.
Throw the ball around the bases in this order.
If you
First,
care about
second,
cheat codes and
third,
stuff, you can
home,
look at
third,
these.
second, home, first, second, third, home. On the next play where the batter hits the ball to the outfield, have your fielder do a running dive with button A.
X64. Is there a cheat code to make the game good? Mortal Kombat 4. Same question. Cheat code to make the game good. Medieval. Medieval sweepstakes! Aw, man, we can win a whole medieval. One 900 preview. 1/900 no thoughts. Get some. What is this? Oh, is this software? Oh, 2 DVDs are better than... Oh, I see. It's like, yeah, PC software. You could get a DVD drive. A dual DVD drive. I don't think you could burn DVDs at this point, so, like, why would you need a dual DVD drive? Or... Wait, no, I think that's actually just a DVD player. You could get a dual DVD player, I guess, so you could... I don't know. Copy one DVD to another, except that wasn't really a thing yet. Alright, what's the final word? DVD writers were a thing? I thought that didn't come until, like, way later. CD writers were always a thing, but... I don't know about DVD writers. I don't remember DVD writers being a thing until, like, the mid-2000s. I could be wrong. Maybe that's just when poor noobs could afford them. I don't know.
VidColoramical me 2OT too long ago. If you played video games, you were considered a geek. The stereotype went something like this. An overweight or malnourished, kind of smelly, hacker-esque guy with glasses, who ate a lot of pizza and Mountain Dew and sat in a dark room day and night.
I feel personally attacked by that.
Whether it was the truth or not, people outside of the gaming community had this image planted in their heads, thanks to movies, TV, and the news media, among other sources. Nowadays things are different, at least some things. Equals I sure, the pizza and G-Re Mountain Dew still remain.
Fuck yeah, it does.
The smell. But now it's DY kind of hip to be in for the know about the video game industry.
Ronnie could probably clarify,
yeah.
yeah.
Still give you grief about playing a lot of games
Oh,
and not
DVD writers were pretty common
peaceful
here.
with your /time. But gaming is accepted more now.
CD
as a
writers.
legitimate
I didn't think
chasm
CD
than
writers
age.
were like
Free
that
Bear
big
War
until
like
like
that.
the late
With many
90s. Were they?
reasons, video and icon of pop games are now cool in the eyes of the general public.
Like
mostly
CD
the male
writers were
portion
just
of
starting to be a
society, mind
thing.
you, and a small percentage of the females. So that brings us to the picture of back in the middle of this page. Why is it there? In a sense, Beck represented the slacker in all of us when his hit song, Loser, came out. As time passed and he continued making music, people started taking notice of his music. They said, "Hey, this stuff is pretty cool," and before anyone knew it, Beck was the most popular solo artist around. Now he's in the
I'm a
mainstream,
loser,
and, for the
baby,
most
so
part,
why don't you
people
kill
respect
me
what he's
in
doing and how
Minecraft?
he's doing it, even if they don't get it. It's the same way with gaming.
So basically what you're telling me is Beck made gaming cool. I agree.
Gamers once represented Slack. All they did was sit around and play games, while moss grew on their backs. They didn't do anything with their lives, at least that's what most people thought. But
Turns
then,
out they were
new
absolutely
technology
right,
came
as the
around,
gamers
and
are.
developers started making games that caught
I
the
know,
7
that's
AIs of people
what I
who
look like
normally
behind
didn't
this
play games.
VTuber
This
avatar,
wasn't
and possibly
too
what
long
Elle
ago
looks
either,
like. We don't
not
know.
long after the PlayStation look came out. The general public started saying, "Hey, this stuff is pretty cool," and before anyone knew it, the game industry was as popular and made more money than the movie industry. Who knew? Like it or not, video games are in the mainstream now.
Fuck yeah.
And because of that, gamers are no longer equals looked at as being lame. For the most of part, this jump into NGEY mainstream is a good thing. Sure, there are cons to popularity, but at least there are a lot of new people being exposed to gaming. The coolest thing about it from my perspective is how Beck still represents us in video games as people popular culture started recognizing how interesting and solid his music was, they started to respect him. Likewise, as people start recognizing how cool some games were, they started respecting them and the people involved with them, gamers included.
Don't bother with Beck. Listen to
Now
Butthole
you'd be
Surfers. It's like
hard-pressed to
Beck
find
for
somebody who
rednecks.
still thinks of Beck or a gamer as a loser. As Beck made the move from loser to pop culture icon, so did gamers move from being geeks to professionals. Yeah, there may be exceptions to the 3 rule, but generally think this makes a lot of sense. By the way, have to send a shout out to Beck. Don't forget to keep an eye out for his new album called Mutations coming out on October 20th.
I've never been a massive fan of Beck, but I respect him. PlayStation. Official PlayStation, yes. Cash for your old games and systems. What? Glad. Blast your games wide open. I don't know about that. Oh, is this like a cheat device or something? Like action replay or some shit? Expert gamer. I think we're almost at the end. In fact, yeah, we are pretty much at the end. Yeah. All right. Well, that is the end of November 1998. So, what can we learn about the state of gaming in the month of our Lord, and the month of our Lord LDP, November 1998. Well, video games are starting to become mainstream, and video games weren't just for the children. I'm gonna pause this actually because that song has gotten me claimed, and I'm not about to erase the audio again. Yeah, some pretty interesting. It was a really interesting time for games, really. Like I always say, the PlayStation era was like, we're never gonna get that sort of Wild West feel again, I feel. Definitely remember. Yeah, that let me see if I can find that. This, maybe? No. Oh, maybe it is this, actually. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's better than the watermark that they added at Retro Mags. So yeah. So next week, I think I'm going to look at the EGM's biggest competitor in the U.S., GamePro. I do kind of wonder, like, how much of a difference is there? Is there a reason to have allegiance for one over the other? I kind of wonder if GamePro is going to be a bit more review-focused than EGM. EGM just kind of has like this wall of reviews that kind of just stick towards the back of the magazine now. And then it's just like tech news and mostly stuff like that, which, you know, if you're buying EGM, that's what you're buying it for, I suppose. All right. Do I raid Drunk or do I raid DJ Ron? I'll raid DJ Ronnie. Why not? It's Thursday. We raid Ronnie. He is doing a Thanksgiving stream. Thanksgiving extravaganza 2025. What does that entail? No idea. You're gonna have to find that out yourself. I couldn't read what it said. Good job, children. Exactly. So Saturday is the grand return of LDM Cinema. Let's see if anybody's voted as a result of that one announcement. I'm guessing the results are more or less locked in at this point, but yeah, 13 and Fire and Ice is in the lead with 54%. If you want to vote, speak now or forever hold your peace. Polls are gonna close Saturday afternoon. Sunday, more Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Karumi's playing that game actually now, so we can be buddies. Monday, more games beginning with the letter F for Alphacade Game Boy Advance Edition. Tuesday, Lunar, Silver Star Story complete for PlayStation. I'm really starting to enjoy the game. It's really kind of starting to come together. And next Thursday, I am going to be playing GamePro. What issue I will be playing, I don't know. But we will find that out at some point, maybe. So, thank you guys so very much for watching. Always super appreciated. Special thank you to my members, Arus218, DJ Ronnie G, and LCX. And thank you to everybody else for watching me tonight. Thank you, Arus218, Mike Wolf, Karumim Good Gamer, Cerulean, Daniel Barry Sports Highlights, Game Gear Goddess, Prime 1, Renee W, Wolfpack 1, and Piglybit 5. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Good night. And thank you for going to my TED Talk. Bye, everyone.
It's the outro, and here's the outro free. Freddy Freak of 18 presentations, sweeping the nation, doing his thing by ways. If you wanna see more of me, become a member, watch some movies on LDM Cinema, play some games on Rum Roulette and request to be part of the community. Join the Discord, talking about games, music, round requests, and more. Join now. That's all of the plugs that I've made. Thank you all for watching. Now let's raid!